This audiobook is a non-profit fan adaptation of the web novel Comprehension Ability, creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability, creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 8, Great Scholar Tai. Which evolution scholar are you exactly? Please subscribe. Inside the spatial entrance, there was an open grassland. The breeze blew, causing large grass blades to sway. However, upon closer inspection, one would notice that each blade of grass was composed of extreme spatial force. The moment Lin Yuan entered, countless grass blades shook, and a terrifying spatial storm quickly formed. Lin Yuan's expression darkened. With such an extreme spatial storm, even a typical 7th rank evolver wouldn't survive. It's one of our own. Lin Yuan quickly released the aura of his battlefield pass. The battlefield pass, crafted by 3 goddesses and unimitable by alien races, was a critical proof that one was from the human race. As the aura of the human race battlefield pass spread, the spatial storm, which had almost formed completely, quickly began to dissipate. The next moment, the scenery around him began to change. Lin Yuan found himself on the peak of a mountain. A cold man with long black hair was standing with his back to Lin Yuan, overlooking the scenery below the mountain. Is he the master of this small space? Lin Yuan cautiously sized up the cold man's back, silently pondering. With Lin Yuan's discernment, he could tell that this cold man was merely a remnant force, and his main body must have long been dead, or else he wouldn't have remained here this whole time. 7th rank, 8th rank evolvers, with their robust life essence, could leave lingering obsessions and power for lengthy years, even in death. You must have realized it by now. My main body is long dead. What remains is merely a lingering obsession, the cold man said, still facing away from Lin Yuan. What year of the Starry Sea era is it now? The cold man continued to speak. The Starry Sea era was the standard recording of time for human civilization. Starry Sea era 212,645. Lin Yuan responded immediately. So much time has already passed. The cold man's emotions seemed to fluctuate slightly. My name is Yin. Since you are from the human race, you should have heard of me, the cold man said after a moment of silence. Yin? The 8th rank evolver, Yin? A stir went through Lin Yuan's mind. In the spacefaring era, recording information had become incredibly easy. Unless it was confidential information, most of it could be found on the network. And the 8th rank evolver, Yin, was a lone evolver who was active around 900,000 years ago during the Starry Sea era. What is a lone evolver? Someone who joins no faction, wanders alone, free and at ease. According to the records of the human civilization in the universe, Yin was last seen in the southeastern region of the human civilization territory. Unexpectedly, he had come to an alien battlefield and perished here. Battlefield C24763, just a small-sized otherworldly battlefield. Although I, Yin, am not among the topmost 8th layers, I'm not weak either. However, I never expected that in this alien battlefield, I would encounter Black Abyss *Qingyu. Yin chuckled softly, his voice tinged with scorn. Black Abyss *Qingyu? Lin Yuan's expression changed. Those who carry Black Abyss as a surname are generally from absolute nobility within the Heiyuan clan. And Black Abyss *Qingyu, as far as Lin Yuan knew, was currently one of the top 10 figures in the Heiyuan clan. That Black Abyss *Qingyu had already stepped into the 8th layer, adept at soul attacks, and just one strike shattered most of my soul. If it weren't for activating a secret technique to save my life, I wouldn't be able to leave behind this small space, probably couldn't even escape. Yin said. Even if I did escape, I couldn't have lasted too long. I couldn't contact the goddesses on the battlefield, so I could only use the last bit of my strength to create a small space and arrange some measures. Yin spoke calmly. Lin Yuan kept silent. Even among 8th-ranked powerful beings, There were variances, and that black abyss asterisk Qingyu was undoubtedly among the strongest of the 8th layer, far surpassing ordinary 8th-ranked beings. The Qikuan Star Lord was also almost at the top level among the 8th layer. His main body, the Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan, belonged to the peak cosmic lineage, and as an 8th layer, he should not be much weaker than that black abyss asterisk Qingyu. Alright, let's leave these unnecessary topics. Oh, Yin chuckled lightly. So many years have passed, and you are the first human to enter this small space, so naturally. All the treasures I left behind belong to you. In my life, I preferred enjoyment. Not many treasures are left. Currently, there is 1/8th layer defensive armor, 1/8th layer soul defense weapon, several weapons of the 7th and 6th layers, 1,000 cubic universe crystals, a special life triple ice wolf bloodline essence potion, and the remaining treasures are of much lower value. You can take a look at them later. Of course, that 8th layer soul defense weapon, severely shattered by a strike from Black Abyss asterisk Qingyu, is priceless even in its severely damaged state and can easily be traded for several 8th layer weapons of the same level. Lin Yuan held his breath. The treasures mentioned by Oyin, even for 8th-ranked powerhouses, were of extreme value, especially that 8th layer soul defense weapon, which was truly priceless. As for the cosmic crystal stones, they were the raw materials used to manufacture cosmic coins which could directly be used as currency to trade with other powerhouses. 1,000 cubic universe crystals were roughly equivalent to 100 billion cosmic coins. The exchange rate between the cosmic coin and the currency of the Human Civilization Alliance was 1 to 10,000. And the three-headed ice wolf blood essence potion. The three-headed ice wolf, a unique life form from the depths of the universe, reached the 4th rank when mature. Its blood essence could easily be integrated into offspring, readily creating a lineage of evolvers with robust bloodlines. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 8 Great Scholar Tai. Which evolution scholar are you? Subscription request _2. This type of special life's blood essence potion was highly sought after within the human civilization, and once available, it was quickly sold out. One could hardly imagine how many three-headed ice wolves would have to be drained to create such a blood essence potion. These are all yours now. The indifferent man still had his back to Lin Yuan. Thank you, senior. Lin Yuan's expression was solemn as he spoke earnestly. Although it was true that any member of the human race who found this spatial entrance and entered would receive a gift from the indifferent man, Lin Yuan had indeed received a great benefit. I wonder if there's anything you'd like me to do, senior? Lin Yuan attempted cautiously. Anything? The indifferent man was slightly startled. Then he smiled and said, I've been dead for so long. I no longer have old friends, so there's nothing much I need. Boom. At that moment, the small space where Lin Yuan was began to shake. You better leave quickly. This small space is about to collapse. The indifferent man raised his right hand. A streak of flowing light shot out and landed in Lin Yuan's hand. It was a storage bracelet. Inside were many treasures belonging to the indifferent man. Oh, Yin. Yes. Lin Yuan took the storage bracelet and immediately flew toward the entrance. The indifferent man, Oh Yin, watched Lin Yuan's departing figure as his body began to crumble quickly. Wang Yue's starfield. Tianqian star. The indifferent man, Oh Yin, murmured softly. Then in the next moment, he completely disintegrated. Qikuan main star. 13 Peaks Great Hall. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. About everything that the radiant Yang spirit had experienced, Lin Yuan naturally synchronized his knowledge, sharing one consciousness, and could switch perspectives at any time. The battlefields of different races are fraught with danger. Aside from supreme beings, no one can ensure their survival. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The experiences of the 8th layer evolutionist, Oh Yin, made him cautious. Even a small-sized otherworldly battlefield like battlefield C24763 could cause an eighth-layer evolutionist to stumble. But today's human civilization is much better than before. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly emotional. In the era of Oyin, the Human Civilization Alliance had difficulties in wars against many different races around them, and in many aspects like foundation and support, they seemed somewhat lacking. The most obvious example was that the doppelganger skill was exceedingly rare during that time. Even eighth-layer evolutionist Oyin had not cultivated a doppelganger. Unlike now, where just the doppelganger skills listed under the red Cohen lineage number over 10. Although cultivating a doppelganger skill requires sacrificing a small portion of the soul, and not every evolver is suitable for cultivating one, it is much stronger than tens of thousands of years ago. Never mind. Let's continue cultivating. After a moment of reflection, Lin Yuan immersed himself once again in contemplating the spatial model. Aside from cultivating, Lin Yuan occasionally connected to the virtual world to interact with other evolvers. The clash of different perspectives and the combination of their against heaven's understanding often unexpectedly helped Lin Yuan. This person's insights might not be inferior to my teacher's. Lin Yuan entered the founder's circle of the virtual world and chatted briefly with a founder named Tai, thinking to himself. Lin Yuan and this Tai met through a post titled, "Is it better to understand one rule deeply or many rules more superficially?" This post, from 23,000 years ago, was left on the founder's forum by the founder, Tai. Lin Yuan often communicated with him, faintly feeling that Tai had broad vision. However, Lin Yuan tried searching the virtual world network, but couldn't find any information related to Tai. While Lin Yuan was pondering, the founder named Tai sent another message. Many evolutionary paths of human civilization. Which stage do you think is the most important? After reading this message, Lin Yuan pondered. From the 1st to 6th ranks of the martial Tao evolution path, and even up to the 7th rank Lin Yuan was currently deciphering, plenty of information flashed through his mind. The 7th rank. After thinking it over, Lin Yuan responded. With deeper understanding of more and more basic spatial models, Lin Yuan was gradually perceiving the specific direction of the 7th stage martial Tao chapter. Once Lin Yuan truly opened the 7th rank chapter, his transformation would far surpass the previous 6 ranks. He should be back soon, right? After replying to Tai, Lin Yuan glanced in the direction of the alien battlefield. According to Lin Yuan's plan, he had sent his radiant yang spirit to the battlefield of the different races to perceive the rules of spatial fluctuations. However, plans always fall behind changes. Lin Yuan intended to stay out of worldly affairs and avoid contact with other species, but instead, he gained the inheritance of an 8th-layer evolutionist. Even on a medium-sized otherworldly battlefield, obtaining the inheritance of a treasure belonging to an 8th-layer powerhouse was an extremely rare opportunity. Lin Yuan had never considered this possibility because the chances were simply too low. But since it happened, Lin Yuan could only reluctantly accept it. In this situation, leaving that inheritance from the 8th-layer evolutionist, Oyin, in the possession of the radiant yang spirit, and then letting the radiant yang spirit stay in the perilous battlefield of different races, Lin Yuan found himself unable to sleep. He would not mind if the radiant yang spirit perished, as it could be reformed in some time. But the loss of the 8th-layer evolutionist treasure, the 8th-layer armor, and the soul defense weapon, and 1,000 cubic universe crystals. If these were to be lost along with the fall of the radiant yang spirit, Lin Yuan reckoned it would distress him for a long time. So right after the radiant yang spirit left that small space, Lin Yuan instructed him to hurry back, deposit the many treasures with him, and then continue to the alien battlefield. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 8 Great Scholar Tai. Which evolution scholar are you? Subscribe please _3. After all, it's just a matter of over a month's time. Lin Yuan could afford the delay. At a far and remote location, there stood a huge research planet. Great scholar Tai watched the complicated characters flashing quickly on the screen in front of him. A moment later, a trace of fatigue appeared on the face of Great Scholar Tai. Let's see if that question has been answered. Deciding to take a break, Great Scholar Tai entered the founder's circle of the virtual world and opened his chat list with Lin Yuan. 7th rank. Seeing Lin Yuan's reply brought a smile to the face of Great Scholar Tai. Haha, this time you must be mistaken. Among the multiple evolutionary paths of human civilization, the most crucial stage is undoubtedly the 8th layer. To step into the 8th layer, one must master the technique of world opening. Create a world within oneself. With a world as the foundation, one can continue to ascend. Otherwise, it is very difficult to take even one step further with the flesh alone. Great Scholar Tai wore a proud but somewhat puzzled expression. He remembered that Lin Yuan should have mastered the rudimentary form of the world-opening technique, that perspective of governing myriad paths with a single path. Its core was the world-opening technique. If so, even if unaware of the world-opening technique, one should understand the vast difference between the 8th and 7th rank. How could he still think the 7th rank is the most important? It shouldn't be, should it? How could such a mistake be made? Great Scholar Tai stroked his chin. Why the 7th rank? After some thought, Great Scholar Tai didn't immediately mock Lin Yuan. Instead, he sent a message asking for clarification. On Chikuan main star. Just as Lin Yuan was preparing to continue his cultivation, he received another question from the Tai founder. Why the 7th rank? Lin Yuan blinked. He believed the 7th rank to be the most important based entirely on the martial Tao evolution path. Because in Lin Yuan's concept, with Taiyin, Taiyang, Taiji, and the space rules, the 7th rank chapter he would create was expected to undergo the greatest transformation. With the enhancement of the space rules, the Taiji domain would evolve into the Taiji minor world. That was why Lin Yuan thought the 7th rank as the most important. To contain myriad paths within a certain path, command myriad paths, integrating with the space rules. Lin Yuan shared some of the theories of the martial Tao evolution path 7th rank chapter quite casually. These theories, which Lin Yuan had realized these past days, were meaningless to others, even if revealed. Without Lin Yuan's foundational research, it would be difficult for outsiders to delve into these theories. At a far and remote location, there stood a huge research planet. Great Scholar Tai patiently waited, staring at the conversation. He decided that no matter what answer Lin Yuan provided later, he would counter with a technique of world opening to demonstrate the unquestionable importance of the 8th layer. Ding! The message arrived. Great Scholar Tai looked at it immediately. This. Great Scholar Tai was somewhat stunned. All the arguments he had prepared to respond with were suddenly withheld. Because the message Lin Yuan sent him was a kind of the world-opening technique. However, how could one use the world-opening technique at the 7th rank? Great Scholar Tai couldn't believe it. Almost in an instant, Great Scholar Tai began to calculate. Countless characters flickered before his eyes, attempting to prove the possibility of success based on the theories sent by Lin Yuan. More than an hour later, Great Scholar Tai closed his eyes. A long time afterward, Great Scholar Tai finally opened his eyes. It does indeed seem likely to succeed. His thoughts collected and his expression solemn, Great Scholar Tai replied in the chat box with Lin Yuan. Who exactly are you? Which evolutionary scholar? All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 9. Net worth skyrockets. Please subscribe. 7th rank evolvers who wish to ascend to 8th rank evolvers find that the method of opening the world is crucial. It refers to creating an inner world within oneself, which is one of the prerequisites for a breakthrough to the 8th layer. Here, the inner world is not some minor space, but a real world in which life can flourish and pass down its heritage. Consider this: the physical bodies of human evolvers, when compared with those special life forms lurking deep within the cosmic starry skies that rival planets in size, are indeed too weak. For example, a starry sky wanderer Kuan, which can reach 6th rank at adulthood and devours planets as its food. A 6th rank human evolver is just as tasty a morsel in front of an adult starry sky wanderer Kuan. To not flee is to die. This is the great disparity brought by factors like physical capability, bloodline, species, and others. Under similar rank conditions, these special life forms are almost invincible. However, by the 8th layer, the gap between human evolvers and those special beings rapidly narrows and might even turn into an advantage for humans. The fundamental reason lies in the inner world opened up by the method of opening the world. With a world to support them, even if this world is not large, the full power of a complete world still lets the human evolvers attain an astonishing level of depth. To open the world and create an inner world, one must at least be at the 7th rank peak to hope to attempt it. It can only fully take shape at the 8th layer. However, from the information sent by Lin Yuan, great scholar Tai saw the possibility of a 7th rank evolver opening the world. This is truly, from the perspective of great scholar Tai, it was clear that Lin Yuan's theory came with many limitations and conditions. For instance, it required understanding all the space-based models at the 6th rank, and the Tao one controlled had to be perfect, and so on. Such a method was destined to be exclusive. Most ordinary evolvers simply didn't possess the insight. Only the true peak geniuses of humanity could hope to attempt this direction. Nonetheless, the theories proposed by Lin Yuan, compared with those conceived by human evolutionary scholars of the past about creating an inner world before the 8th layer, had a possible chance of realization. The evolutionary scholars of the past did indeed research methods to create an inner world before an 8th layer breakthrough. But there were many more conditions, often requiring the assistance of rare cosmic treasures. For example, one method involved consuming a world fruit at the 7th rank and then refining it with special techniques. But world fruits, how precious are they? To use them to open an inner world for a 7th rank evolver? Such a waste. Which evolutionary scholar? On Shikuan main star, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, staring at the message replied by Tai, the founder, momentarily lost in thought. Evolutionary scholar. Lin Yuan did know that this was a treasure of human civilization. But to become an evolutionary scholar, strength was secondary. The key was to create a stable, complete, novel 8th layer evolutionary system. Over millions of years in the Chikuan star domain, only 3 evolutionary scholars were born. And these scholars had long since headed to the central star domain of human civilization. Is it because of those concepts I spoke of? Lin Yuan thought to himself, recalling the 7th-stage martial Tao chapter concepts he shared with Tai, the founder, which involved using Taiji and spatial rules to open a small world. However, this idea was only suitable for Lin Yuan. So far, only Lin Yuan managed to achieve it. Not to say anything about others, just fully understanding the basic spatial model at the 6th rank would be enough to block almost all evolvers. Of course, in Lin Yuan's vision, the 7th-stage martial Tao contains many cultivation directions. To comprehend the space rules was just one of them. Other martial arts evolvers, upon reaching the peak of 6th rank, if they cannot comprehend the space rules, may focus on the rules they excel at. But without the space rules, they cannot create an inner world at the 7th rank. This was, after all, a trade-off, and Lin Yuan had no intention of noting in the 7th rank chapter that understanding the fundamental space model could lead to an early opening the world. It would cause other martial Tao evolvers to forcibly try to comprehend space rules at 6th rank in pursuit of opening the world. I am not an evolutionary scholar, Lin Yuan replied. The martial path evolutionary path hasn't even begun to open a 7th rank chapter to this day, let alone commence an 8th layer part. Not an evolutionary scholar? Great scholar Tai frowned. He also felt that Lin Yuan wasn't an evolutionary scholar and had sensed it during their previous conversation. But if you're not an evolutionary scholar, how could you develop a direction and concept for seventh rankers to open an inner world? It wasn't that the great scholar Tai looked down on evolvers below the evolutionary scholars. But without reaching that level, how could one have the soul power and computational ability to deduce such concepts? Could it be that such a genius truly exists in this world? For a moment, great scholar Tai felt somewhat disinterested. Since he entered the evolutionary path, he was considered a genius among countless evolvers. The favoritism from the upper echelons of human civilization, the affections of the three goddesses, and more made great scholar Tai very confident. But seeing Lin Yuan, great scholar Tai suddenly thought that he might be getting old. Qikuan main star. Lin Yuan's expression turned reflective. Could it be that this founder, Tai, is an evolutionary scholar? Lin Yuan pondered in his heart. The number of evolutionary scholars is extremely scant, far fewer than 8th rank evolvers. Within the circle of virtual world founders, they were all certainly founders of an evolutionary path. But how many of them could actually develop a complete 8th rank evolutionary path? All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 9. Net worth skyrockets. Please subscribe. _2. This would be hundreds to thousands of times more difficult than cultivating to the 8th layer. Space rules. Lin Yuan continued to comprehend the space rules. He had already experienced advancing to the 7th rank, and with such a high understanding of space and the aid of his against heaven's understanding, breaking through to the 7th rank was almost guaranteed to succeed. Begin. Lin Yuan closed his eyes. The breath within his body suddenly began to gather slowly. Qikuan main star. Above, 10 million kilometers away, a space slightly twisted. Qikuan Star Lord, dressed in a crimson robe and with his hands clasped behind his back, stood there quietly. Not far away, 12 figures stood in succession. It was the 12 peak masters of Qikuan Star Lord. Aside from the junior disciple Lin Yuan, all 12 peak masters had appeared here, standing respectfully. Everyone is here. Qikuan Star Lord glanced over the 12 disciples. Now, let me demonstrate for you just many applications of space rules. Qikuan Star Lord said indifferently. Although the virtual world can almost perfectly replicate everything from the outside world, it still cannot perfectly replicate space rules. Thus, every once in a while, Qikuan Star Lord would gather all his disciples under the outer space, personally demonstrating the use of the power of space. Teacher, the junior disciple has not yet arrived. At this moment, the 4th peak master Zhuge couldn't help but speak. He had looked around for a long time and noticed that only the 12 of them were present. The junior disciple Lin Yuan was not there. As soon as these words were spoken, the 5th, 6th, and 7th peak masters also looked towards Qikuan Star Lord. They had also noticed this issue, but they didn't dare to ask since Qikuan Star Lord had not mentioned it. The junior disciple? Qikuan Star Lord glanced at the 4th peak master Zhuge and the other peak masters who were still at the 6th rank. The teachings they now received, Lin Yuan had essentially already comprehended. The last time he demonstrated the space model, Qikuan Star Lord noticed Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules. Therefore, he did not specifically call Lin Yuan this time, mainly wanting to save some face for 9th peak masters like the 4th peak master. The thought of being surpassed by the youngest disciple after so many years of being a disciple. Qikuan Star Lord thought about it and found it to be quite normal. After all, given the talents displayed by Lin Yuan, surpassing from the 4th peak master to the 12th wasn't the issue. It was just a matter of time. Alright. Enough talk. Qikuan Star Lord didn't bother to explain. Next, I will try to materialize the space rules as much as possible. You all try your best to break through them. Having said this, Qikuan Star Lord's figure disappeared from the spot. This scene made the 12 peak masters on the scene tense. Even the great peak masters, who had long entered the 7th rank, had serious expressions. The materialization of space rules mentioned by Chikuan Star-Lord was definitely not a trivial matter. The next moment, the 12 peak masters found that the space around them began to twist. Their own figures became smaller and smaller, almost turning into mesons. Above everyone's heads, a massive entity appeared. It was a starry sky wanderer Kuan, whose size was tens to hundreds of times that of a normal life planet. Under the condition that the 12 peak masters' figures were turned into mesons, the starry sky wanderer Kuan seemed even more like a splendid starry river, towering above and looking down at everyone. We can't go on like this. The 12 peak masters trembled in spirit, realizing that if they didn't resist, their mental states would be destroyed, and then they would definitely be scolded by the teacher again. Thus, the 12 exerted their fullest strength in an explosion, seeking to resist the starry sky wanderer Kuan that seemed to crush down like the heavens. But the next moment, there was no longer a starry sky wanderer Kuan that resembled a splendid starry river between heaven and earth. The 12 peak masters' figures also returned to normal, and the twisted space quickly calmed down. However, the 12 peak masters did not dare to relax. Because, unknown to them, their teacher Chikuan Star-Lord had already come by their side, standing behind everyone, looking down at the Chikuan main star below. As if observing someone. The great peak master, also at the 7th rank peak, likewise noticed something. Is this the aura of breaking through to the 7th rank? Junior disciple. Is junior disciple breaking through to the 7th rank? The great peak master muttered to himself, yet his voice rang in every peak master's ear. Breaking through to the 7th rank. 4th peak master's Waga stared, dumbfounded and incredulous. Chikuan Star-Lord glanced at the 4th peak master's Waga and then at the other peak masters. As if to say, "See? Now, do you understand why I didn't call your junior disciple over?" The 12 peak masters were utterly bewildered. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 12. Which peak master has advanced to the 7th rank? Subscribe, please. Is the junior disciple about to break through to the 7th rank? This was the first thought that surfaced in the minds of the 12 peak masters. An evolver breaking through a great realm is like a pebble falling into water, creating ripples. Ordinary people or weaker evolvers might not notice, but it can't be hidden from 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers. When Lin Yuan first stepped into the 6th rank on Kanglin Star, the noise of his breakthrough was captured by the great senior brother and the demon rat clan monarch. Thus, the 12 peak masters instantly felt the aura of a breakthrough to the 7th rank emanating from Chikuan main star. And they confirmed that the aura of the breakthrough originated from the 13 peaks. From this, they concluded that the junior disciple was breaking through. How much time has passed? This was the second thought that emerged in the minds of the 12 peak masters. Advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank is no easy matter. This is a major threshold, a major constraint. Peak masters 4 through 12 are still trapped at the peak of the 6th rank. One can see the difficulty in this. In the minds of these 9 6th rank peak masters, Lin Yuan had terrifying potential and indeed had a better chance than them of entering the 7th rank in the future. But that would require time, right? How long has it been since Lin Yuan broke through the 6th rank? This is simply unreasonable. Junior disciple? The great peak master blinked his eyes. Not long ago, one of his avatars personally guarded Kanglin Star and witnessed the entire process of Lin Yuan's advancement to the 6th rank. What the great peak master did not expect, however, was that he would witness his junior disciple advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank today. Teacher, did you already know the junior disciple was about to break through? 4th peak master's Waga swallowed nervously and asked cautiously. This time, The Qikuan Star Lord specifically called them out, not disturbing Lin Yuan, which now seemed quite prescient. Perhaps he already knew something. Naturally, the Qikuan Star Lord glanced at his several disciples. Previously, Lin Yuan had consulted him about the basic space models, and the Qikuan Star Lord realized that Lin Yuan's understanding of space rules was terrifyingly high, not at all like an evolver who had just entered the 6th rank. Such high comprehension of space meant that Lin Yuan's realm far exceeded the 6th rank, plus as a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, with an unlimited supply of Scarlet Spirit liquid, there was no need to slowly accumulate energy. Under many factors, the Qikuan Star Lord felt that Lin Yuan advancing to the 7th rank was completely to be expected. Only, even the Qikuan Star Lord did not expect that Lin Yuan would choose to break through so quickly, not continue to accumulate, or consult him about the details of advancing to the 7th rank. Of course, although the Qikuan Star Lord hadn't interacted much with Lin Yuan, based on his understanding of Lin Yuan, he knew his junior disciple was steady-minded and would not act without assurance. Even when suppressed by the Heiyu family in the past, he hadn't revealed his identity. Now that he has chosen to break through to the 7th rank, he surely has ample confidence. What is this cultivation speed of the junior disciple? I'm still rotating in the 6th rank, and the junior disciple has reached the 7th rank. Isn't the junior disciple still under 30? A 7th rank at 30. When I was 30, I was still playing around in the 4th and 5th ranks. After regaining their composure, the 12 peak masters spoke in astonished tones and quickly started discussing. The stronger the strength, the more they could understand how terrifying Lin Yuan's cultivation speed truly was. In the long history of the Qikuan Star Domain, and even the entire Anon Star Alliance, there had been 7th rank evolvers under 30. But most of these evolvers had many opportunities and had entered the 6th rank very early, spending 10 to nearly 20 years before breaking through to the 7th rank. To advance like Lin Yuan, entering the 6th rank less than 2 years ago, and then advancing to the 7th rank, there probably aren't many such instances in the entire history of human civilization, are there? Currently, in the overt records of the Human Civilization Alliance, among evolvers who reach the 7th rank before 30, 10% remain at the 7th rank, 20% die in various accidents, and 70% reach the 8th rank, which means, as long as the junior disciple doesn't die, reaching the 8th rank is almost inevitable. Second senior brother muttered to himself, still somewhat in disbelief. Setting aside other factors, just this terrifying cultivation speed alone will ensure Lin Yuan a prominent place in the annals of human civilization. In the future, even millions or tens of millions of years later, when evolvers mention a 7th rank under the age of 30, Lin Yuan will undoubtedly be cited. Such a brilliant and outstanding evolver, and he's actually their junior disciple? Alright, enough talking. Just watch carefully and feel, this chance doesn't come often. The Qikuan Star Lord glanced again at the various peak masters and spoke. Yes. The 12 peak masters immediately stopped discussing. Especially the 4th to 12th peak masters, they observed even more intently. Advancing from the 6th rank to the 7th rank begins to impact the cosmic starry sky. This subtle change has a slight stimulating effect on those evolvers at the peak of the 6th rank. Qikuan Main Star. Deep within the 13 Peaks Great Hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. At this moment, his internal energy was boiling to the extreme. With just a single thought, he could step into the 7th rank. Next, I need to integrate the way of Taiyin and Taiyang with the Tao of space to evolve a Taiji microcosm. Lin Yuan sat there, the power of Taiyin and Taiyang within his Qi-Si Dantian continuously colliding, emitting an indescribable aura. If Lin Yuan hadn't mastered 965 basic space models, at this moment inside his Qi-Si Dantian, he would stop progressing. In terms of the sheer depth and suppressive power of the pure domain, he might be much stronger than other 7th rank evolvers, but he would still be on the same level, nowhere comparable to an 8th rank evolver. But now? Space. Lin Yuan's mind flickered slightly. Streams of space power emerged from within his Qi-Si Dantian. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 12. Which peak master has advanced to the 7th rank? Subscribe, please. _2. Continuously condensing all sorts of spatial models. Over 900 basic spatial models came together like pillars, thoroughly supporting an entirely independent space within Lin Yuan's Dantian Qi Sea. A world. Lin Yuan observed the changes within the Qi Sea of his Dantian. Creating a small space isn't a difficult task for a 6th rank evolver. As long as they comprehend 1 or 2 basic spatial models, they can achieve it. In the immortal Tao world, a Mahayana phase Heaven Lord could use the Heaven Grade technique, Cosmos in the sleeve, to temporarily create a sleeve space. But to create a small world is incredibly difficult. Unlike the rigid space, a world can continuously absorb external energy to grow. The most powerful aspect of an 8th layer evolver is that with every move, they can harness the power of their inner world, a terrifying force far surpassing the individual's own. And with the support of an inner world, an 8th layer evolver is very hard to kill, able to recover from even the most grievous injuries. Of course, here, the injuries referred to are those of the physical body. As for injuries to the soul, it depends on the specific circumstances. The soul is extremely mysterious. Over 1 million years ago, the 8th layer evolutionist Oin died under a soul attack, unable to send out any message before death. The embryonic form of a world has already taken shape. Lin Yuan's attention was mostly focused on that separate space deep within the Qi Sea of his Dantian. With the addition of 965 basic spatial models, the power of Taiyin and power of Taiyang, which formed the power of Taiji, seemed to have gone through some type of qualitative change. The aura shifted, quickly becoming perfected. The embryonic form of a small world faintly appeared. Lin Yuan's expression suddenly changed. With the appearance of the embryonic form of the small world, Lin Yuan suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of hunger. Hungry, hungry, hungry. I'm starving to death. The small world's embryonic form began to crazily absorb the energy inside Lin Yuan's body. In fact, with Lin Yuan's control, he could completely cut off this absorption. But if he did that, it might affect the foundation of the Taiji's small world. Thankfully, I came prepared. With a thought from Lin Yuan, bottle after bottle appeared before him. They were filled with vast amounts of scarlet spirit liquid. Before his breakthrough, Lin Yuan had prepared everything he might need. To open up an inner world, a tremendous amount of energy is inevitably consumed, and relying solely on one's own absorption, who knows how long that would take. Therefore, Lin Yuan had, in advance, applied for enough scarlet spirit liquid. Scarlet spirit liquid can replenish the energy consumed within the body and has many uses. The Red Kuan lineage has a stable channel for acquiring scarlet spirit liquid. Actually, in terms of replenishing oneself, the effect of cosmic crystal stones should far surpass that of scarlet spirit liquid, a resource needed by 8th layer evolvers and even stronger beings. But Lin Yuan was reluctant to use them. Despite obtaining 1,000 cubic cosmic crystals from Yin's legacy, these were hard currency among various cosmic races, and using any would mean having less. While the effect of scarlet spirit liquid was somewhat inferior, it was free and cost nothing. Eat. Lin Yuan drank the scarlet spirit liquid in big gulps, and the gentle power flowed swiftly into the Qi Sea of his Dantian through his limbs and bones. The embryonic form of the Taiji small world started to fill up at a visible rate. Above the Qikuan main star, the Qikuan Star Lord and the 12 Peak Masters were carefully observing the fluctuations in Lin Yuan's aura during his breakthrough. Little junior brother has a very stable foundation. Seems like he has made ample preparations. The breakthrough hasn't encountered any hitches. But why is he lingering at the 6th rank peak? The 3rd senior brother was also observing carefully, although he had already stepped into the 7th rank. watching and feeling more can't do him any harm. Not sure. Perhaps he's sensing the subtle changes from 6th rank to 7th rank? Maybe little junior brother really is. Other evolvers, even us, when breaking through from 6th to 7th rank, can't wait to step right into it. Yet little junior brother is leisurely comparing people. The second senior brother side. For a 6th rank evolver, stepping into the 7th rank is undoubtedly the most coveted thing. No 6th rank evolver could stay at the door to the 7th rank and shake it without immediately entering. Judging by the changes in aura, little junior brother's entry into the 7th rank should be a sure thing. The eldest senior brother declared decisively, having taken less than 2 years to complete the entire journey from 6th rank to the peak of the 7th rank, and the breakthrough was so smooth. The eldest senior brother simply thought Lin Yuan was abnormal. When he recalled the many setbacks and trials he faced when breaking through to the 7th rank, compared with his little junior brother. Compared to the 12 peak masters who were overwhelmed with emotion. At this moment, despite the calm appearance of the Chikuan Star Lord, there was a look of surprise and uncertainty in his heart. How do I feel the opening of a space? The Chikuan Star Lord was keenly sensing the changes in the aura coming from the 13 peaks below. Worried about affecting Lin Yuan's breakthrough, the Chikuan Star Lord dared not extend his perception into the 13 peaks. He could only rely on his own experience and the fluctuations of the power of space to speculate on some matters. Could it be? The Chikuan Star Lord himself, a starry sky wanderer Kuan, was a special space life form and was extremely sensitive to the fluctuations of space. At this moment, he faintly perceived that the spatial fluctuations produced by Lin Yuan's breakthrough were somewhat different from the normal transition from 6th rank to 7th. Could it be some special space treasure, or... The Chikuan Star Lord thought for a moment and couldn't help but speculate. He was just curious and had no other thoughts. After all, which evolver who managed to cultivate to the 6th or 7th rank didn't have some sort of special opportunity? The Chikuan Star Lord had his own, as did the 12 peak masters, so it was only natural for Lin Yuan to have a special space treasure. Time passed. Another half-day went by. It should be stable now. Let's go wait outside the 13 peaks. Feeling that Lin Yuan's aura had fully stepped into the 7th rank, the Chikuan Star Lord led the 12 peak masters towards the outside of the 13 peaks. Little junior brother, you've really kept us in the dark. Indeed, this time we must find out exactly how he has been cultivating. Wei say when we meet him, should I call him senior brother or junior brother? The 12 peak masters talked amongst themselves, while the 4th to 12th masters were somewhat conflicted. In the human civilization of the universe, unless it's a direct blood relative, strength takes precedence. That is to say, even if a 7th rank evolver is younger, a 6th rank evolver must treat them as an elder upon meeting. The 4th peak master and the others weren't reluctant to call Lin Yuan senior brother, but having called him junior brother so many times before, the sudden change of status was a bit unfamiliar to them. Chikuan main star. As the most prosperous planet in a star domain, the Chikuan main star is filled with many powerful evolvers, with 4th and 5th rank seen everywhere, and there were also numerous 6th rank fallen star warriors, and even 7th rank evolvers. Under the perception of so many powerful beings, the breakthrough aura emanating from the heart of the main star was naturally noticed by many 6th rank evolvers. Someone in the Red Kuan lineage has broken through to the 7th rank. The Chikuan Star Lord's level of mentoring disciples is really impressive. True, it's a pity the Chikuan Star Lord doesn't take many disciples. In 10,000 years, he has only taken the 13 peak masters. The 6th rank evolvers on the main star chatted with each other, praising the Chikuan Star Lord's teaching methods. Right. Who do you think is the peak master that broke through to the 7th rank this time? A 6th rank evolver asked out of curiosity. They were unaware that at this moment, all 12 peak masters were not on Chikuan main star. It should be the 4th peak master, right? The 4th peak master has been at the 6th rank the longest, has the deepest accumulation, and is closest to the 7th rank. I think that's not right. The 6th peak master has the best talent and a special physique. Among the Chikuan Star Lord's disciples, I think he's the most likely to step into the 7th rank. The 6th Peak Master is indeed very likely, but in earlier years, the 6th Peak Master was injured in a battle with a different species, which might affect his breakthrough to the 7th rank. I think the 8th Peak Master is the most likely. The 8th Peak Master? I think it's the 5th Peak Master. The multitude of 6th rank evolvers guessed all the 9 Peak Masters, from the 4th to the 12th, one by one. Each of these 9 masters was at the peak of the 6th rank, and being a disciple of a Star Lord, they all had the potential to step into the 7th rank. Though opinions among the 6th rank evolvers differed, there was a unified understanding, or perhaps an assumption. That was, the Peak Master who was breaking through definitely could not be the 13th Peak Master. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 13. Fame spreads far and wide. Request for subscription. Exhale. Inhale. Deep within the Great Hall of the 13 Peaks, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, experiencing a significant transformation of both body and soul after entering the 7th rank. Now, Lin Yuan, merely his foundational destructive power, had surged dozens of times, and if the amplification from his understanding of the rules and the support of the Taiji inner world in his body were added, probably only 7th rank kings as evolvers could match Lin Yuan. Taiji inner world. Lin Yuan's mind plunged into the Dantian Qi Sea. A small world had already been formed there. Whoosh. Lin Yuan's mind descended into the small world. This was a small world swirling in black and white, where everything looked desolate at a glance. Yet, Lin Yuan did not find it strange. The small world had just been created. Everything was yet to be developed. Normally, the inner worlds of 8th rank evolvers are often about 100 miles in radius. But this small world of mine is merely 10 miles in radius? Lin Yuan looked around, thinking to himself. As the creator of this small world, Lin Yuan was like a god of creation, knowing everything inside the small world with just a thought. True. The inner worlds created by 8th rank evolvers have a strong physical body as their foundation, hence they can bear a world of 100 miles. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Evolver, who can cultivate to the 8th rank at least follow the 8th rank evolutionary path. Such evolutionary paths are almost as strong as the current martial path evolutionary path, especially since they only try to create an inner world after reaching the peak of 7th rank. A 7th rank peak body and soul are naturally a bit stronger than Lin Yuan's 6th rank peak body and soul. The initial size of the inner worlds they create naturally has an advantage. Of course, the initial size of the inner world is irrelevant. Because the inner world has the attribute of growth, it can slowly expand. Currently, Lin Yuan's inner world is only 10 miles in size, but as Lin Yuan's realm ascends and his strength increases, the inner world will grow to hundreds or even thousands of miles. The power of the world. Lin Yuan raised his right hand and observed it carefully. After the Taiji inner world formed, it began to emit the power of the world, slowly transforming Lin Yuan's body and soul. The power of the world, almost omnipotent, could enhance Lin Yuan's attacks, guard his body and soul, and also slowly improve various aspects. Although I've just entered the 7th rank, with a boost from the power of the world, my actual combat power may have already reached the peak of 7th rank. Lin Yuan silently thought. The power of the world, that is an exclusive force of 8th rank evolvers. The inner world Lin Yuan had just opened, even if it was weaker than the inner worlds of 8th rank evolvers, still gave birth to the power of the world. Among the 7th rank evolvers, it was almost like cheating. Most importantly, most of those at the peak of the 7th rank, their upper limits were set in stone, and the only way to advance was to attempt to break through to the 8th rank. But Lin Yuan, his inner world had just been opened, possessing almost unlimited potential for growth, which might enable him someday to compete with 8th rank evolvers while still at the peak of the 7th rank. Inner world. Lin Yuan once again carefully felt the inner world inside his Dantian Qi. Although it was only 10 miles in radius, it was a complete world, its aura circulating perfectly. As long as Lin Yuan wished, outsiders couldn't detect the existence of the inner world. My own God! Lin Yuan slightly raised his head, looking in the direction of battlefield C24763. With the breakthrough of his real body, even the tiny primordial spirit began to transform, its primordial spirit power becoming more and more pure, instantly reaching the 7th rank. It's a pity the primordial spirit doesn't have a physical body and cannot give birth to an inner world. Lin Yuan shook his head lightly. However, if the yin spirit and yang spirit are combined, evolve Taiji, and are combined with an understanding of space rules, perhaps it could give birth to a phantom spiritual world. Lin Yuan speculated in his mind. A single Tai-yin and Tai-yang, even with the integration of space rules, couldn't form a complete world, but combined, it's different. Have the teachers arrived? Lin Yuan glanced outside, immediately got up, and walked out of the hall. Teacher. Fellow apprentice brothers. Lin Yuan came out and smiled. He didn't intend to conceal his breakthrough to the 7th rank, and it couldn't be concealed, either. In human civilization, as long as Lin Yuan was part of the human race, the more terrifying his talent, the greater the resource tilt he would receive. Good disciple. Qikuan Star Lord smiled and looked at Lin Yuan. In less than 2 years, you've stepped into the 7th rank. That is much stronger than your teacher back then. Qikuan Star Lord himself took thousands of years to step into the 7th rank. However, Qikuan Star Lord's true form was the Starry Sky Wanderer Kuan. Such special beings generally require a long time to break through. And here, a long time is relative to the human race. The lifespans of special beings are generally calculated in millions of years, and so-called thousands of years are just a few naps. Many special beings sleep for a few hundred or 1,000 years at a time, equivalent to half a lifetime for an ordinary human race evolver. Little junior brother, slow down your cultivation. Any faster, and you'll surpass me? Third senior brother jokingly said from the side. In the Red Kuan lineage, the Great Peak Master is a 7th rank Peak King, while the 2nd and 3rd Peak Masters are 7th rank Marquis level. Lin Yuan had just entered the 7th rank and, in the eyes of his 3rd senior brother, was at the Marquis level within the 7th rank. So, the 3rd senior brother believed Lin Yuan hadn't surpassed him yet. However, in terms of pure combat power, perhaps only Qikuan Star Lord could suppress Lin Yuan. Otherwise, even the eldest senior brother might not be his match. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 13 Fame spreads far and wide. Please subscribe. _2. There's no choice. The power of the world is too overpowered. Little Master Zhuge and the others exchanged glances, hesitant to speak. There's no need to change how we address each other, my fellow brothers. Seeing this, Lin Yuan immediately spoke up. Ever since joining the Red Kuan lineage, his senior brothers, like Zhuge and the others, had taken great care of Lin Yuan, and their interactions were always pleasant. In such a situation, Lin Yuan didn't feel that stepping into the 7th rank made him superior to others, therefore maintaining the previous form of address was fine by him. Ha ha ha, my good disciple, if you do this, won't they lack the motivation to cultivate hard? As Zhuge and the others' faces lit up with joy, Qikuan Star Lord glared at the former. Teacher. The faces of Zhuge and the others immediately soured. This has nothing to do with whether one has the motivation or not, okay? Not everyone has the talent of our little brother here. For him, stepping into the 7th rank was as simple as eating and drinking. All right, my good disciple, stepping into the 7th rank at your age is extremely rare in the entire history of the Anon Star Alliance. Qikuan Star Lord's expression grew serious. But don't get arrogant. With your talent, reaching the 7th rank isn't much. The 8th layer is your target, or even surpassing the 8th layer. Let's not talk about surpassing the 8th layer for now. Let's first discuss the 8th layer. Shikuan Star-Lord said, pausing for a moment before continuing. To break through to the 8th layer, there are 3 prerequisite conditions. First, one must open up an inner world. For a 7th rank evolver, an inner world is the foundation of their being, and manipulating the power of the world is the most powerful method for an evolver of the 8th layer. Indeed. Lin Yuan nodded. He had also opened up his inner world and deeply understood this point. Second, one must have a sufficiently strong mental will. This can only rely on oneself. Without strong mental willpower, one might fall into a state of decline during the breakthrough to the 8th layer. By then, even if one has opened up an inner world, it would be in vain, akin to being a living dead. Shikuan Star-Lord said this, his tone slightly grave. To open up an inner world, one could employ certain methods to assist, such as the world fruit. Of course, the world fruit is too luxurious, but treasures just a notch below it could still offer substantial help. But mental willpower? That could only be accumulated by oneself. Many 7th rank evolvers in history have failed at this step. Understood. Lin Yuan nodded. To put it simply, if using the terms of the immortal Tao world as an example, then breaking from the 7th to the 8th rank would require facing the heart demon tribulation. The heart demon tribulation emerges from within the heart. External objects are of no use. One can only rely on oneself. Shikuan Star-Lord emphasized this point precisely because Lin Yuan was very young and perhaps not adept at dealing with inner demons. Normally speaking, the longer one lives, the more one experiences, the higher the chances of overcoming the heart demon tribulation. Third, when you reach the limit of the 7th rank, you will naturally understand. Shikuan Star-Lord did not elaborate further, feeling that it was unnecessary for Lin Yuan, who had just entered the 7th rank, to know too much. All right. It's time for us to go back. You've just stepped into the 7th rank. Take some time to get familiar with your power. Shikuan Star-Lord glanced at the big senior brother and said, the news of your brother's breakthrough will be announced by you. Yes. The big senior brother nodded and smiled. Right now, everyone outside is speculating about which peak master has stepped into the 7th rank. Shikuan Main Star. Many forces were looking forward with great anticipation, waiting for the Red Kuan lineage to announce the news. According to the Red Kuan lineage's tradition, the advancement of each peak master into the 7th rank was always heavily publicized. After all, the addition of another 7th rank enhances the lineage's foundation. I'm certain it must be the 4th peak master. Don't talk nonsense. The 6th peak master is the strongest. Hee, I like to go against the flow. I think it's the 12th peak master. The many forces were in a heated debate, with 7th rank evolvers who were familiar with several peak masters discreetly making contacts, hoping to get insider information. Yet none received a response from the peak masters. Half a day later, the Red Kuan lineage finally made public which peak master had stepped into the 7th rank. The announcement is out. Which peak master is it, exactly? Let me see. It's Peak Master Shursan stepping into the 7th rank. Huh? Peak Master Shursan. The many forces first fell into silence. They seemed to need a moment to figure out exactly who this Peak Master Shursan was. But shortly thereafter, there was an uproar. Peak Master Shursan? Isn't Peak Master Shursan the new disciple of the Star Lord? Right, not long ago, Peak Master Shursan had just stepped into the 6th rank. I remember that Peak Master Shursan came from some middle-grade life planet. Has Peak Master Shursan stepped into the 7th rank, or is there some mistake? Countless forces were buzzing with conversation, some in disbelief. Even if it had been the 12th Peak Master stepping into the 7th rank, it would be more acceptable than Peak Master Shursan making such advancement. But the announcements issued by the Red Kuan lineage are never wrong. If it says it's the 13 Peak Master, then it certainly is the 13 Peak Master. My heavens, just how terrifying is the talent of the 13 Peak Master. In less than 2 years, he has spanned from 6th rank to 7th rank. Woo, in 2 years I'm still stuck at the 4th stage, 3rd class. I don't want to live. After the initial confusion on Chikuan main star, numerous powers immediately launched into even more frenetic discussions. Kanglin star. Compared to Chikuan main star, which detected right away that someone from the Red Kuan lineage had stepped into 7th rank, Kanglin star didn't receive any news at all, and even if they had, they probably wouldn't have given it much thought. After all, even the countless citizens of Kanglin star wouldn't believe that the peak master who entered 7th rank could be Lin Yuan, who had just become the 13th peak master 2 years prior. That was until the news released by the Red Kuan lineage spread. What? Lin Yuan has stepped into 7th rank.
So fast.
A few years ago, during the arena competition, wasn't Lin Yuan just at 5th rank? Now he's at 7th rank. The entire population of Kanglin star, hundreds of billions of citizens, was completely stirred up after receiving the news. In actuality, Lin Yuan becoming a peak master and stepping into 7th rank didn't bring much tangible benefit to the vast majority of Kanglin star's citizens. The so-called allocation of resources is something that would take hundreds of years to become noticeable. But Lin Yuan came from Kanglin star, and now that Kanglin star had produced such an important figure, all citizens of Kanglin star felt a genuine sense of honor welling up from the bottom of their hearts. 13th peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, the high and mighty 7th rank evolver, an extraordinary figure that many high-grade life planets can't produce. And he hails from their Kanglin star? Wanyang Star Domain. Wanyang Holy Land. The Wanyang Holy Sun sat cross-legged on the surface of a sun, swallowing huge amounts of light and heat into his mouth. As a rare carrier of the Nine-Yang Divine Meridian, the Wanyang Holy Sun was almost immune to scorching heat and had an extremely high affinity for the laws of the fire system. Now that he had stepped into 6th rank, he could even walk and cultivate on the surface of a sun. Keep in mind, even 6th rank peak evolvers wouldn't dare to approach a sun casually. 6th rank evolvers are said to be capable of striking down ordinary stars. But that's only talking about ordinary planets, whereas a sun, to be called a sun, its volume must be at least tens of millions of times that of an ordinary planet. The cultivation ended. The Wanyang Holy Sun connected to the virtual world. Rejected again? The Wanyang Holy Sun glanced at the challenge he had applied for. Ever since stepping into 6th rank, he would challenge Lin Yuan every once in a while. After all, during the limit of 5th rank, Lin Yuan's last 3 slaps had made him spit blood and concede defeat voluntarily, a shame that the Wanyang Holy Sun couldn't wash away from his mind. Now having entered 6th rank, with the Nine-Yang Divine Meridian further developed, in addition to the many secret techniques of the Wanyang Holy Land, the Wanyang Holy Sun believed he could regain his honor. Could it be that he dares not? The Wanyang Holy Sun wore a puzzled expression. To him, Lin Yuan repeatedly rejecting his challenge could only mean one thing.
Whoosh.
Just then, a black-haired elder appeared. Your Highness. The black-haired elder bowed slightly to the Wanyang Holy Sun. What is it? The Wanyang Holy Sun was contemplating the matter with Lin Yuan and asked casually. Your Highness, you asked me to keep an eye on the news about the 13th peak master of the Red Kuan lineage. The black-haired elder inquired carefully. Oh, what news? The Wanyang Holy Sun suddenly showed interest. To him, Lin Yuan had special significance, so he had instructed his subordinates to pay more attention to news related to Lin Yuan. Your Highness, I have just received news that a peak master of the Red Kuan lineage has stepped into 7th rank. The black-haired elder paused, speaking with increased caution. Oh! Upon hearing this, the Wanyang Holy Sun's interest waned. He was only interested in the 13th peak master. As for other peak masters of the Red Kuan lineage stepping into 7th rank, what did that have to do with him? The rise of a 7th rank evolver is indeed a major event for a star domain. But looking at the Star Alliance and even other nearby star alliances, almost every so often an evolver steps into 7th rank. Your Highness, the peak master who has stepped into 7th rank. The black-haired elder persisted, is the 13-peak master. The Wanyang Holy Sun was momentarily taken aback, then reacted with a start, standing up and staring at the black-haired elder. What did you say? All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability, Creating and Teaching the Tao in Various Worlds. Chapter 14, The Second Chikuan Star Lord, Convening of the Star Alliance Conference. Please subscribe. Wanyang Holy Sun was somewhat bewildered. He almost thought he had heard wrong. Besides, after every Star Alliance conference, we higher-level citizens will hold a few swap meets while we're still around, to exchange for the resources and treasures we need. The red-nosed Sherfoam continued. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability, Creating and Teaching the Tao in Various Worlds. Chapter 15 Lobbying, Well Water Does Not Violate River Water. Subscribe please, _2. Although the Human Civilization Alliance has a dedicated marketplace app for selling all kinds of treasures, some rare and precious treasures are often in short supply, and these exchange meetings exist for such rare and valuable items. This is actually pretty good. Lin Yuan thought of the weapons and treasures of several different species he had acquired on the battlefields of different races, as well as the inheritance from the 8th-layer evolutionist Oin. Many of them were items he didn't need. Selling them directly to human civilization would be too much of a loss. Instead, it would be possible to dispose of them through these exchange meetings. Are you now participating or not? Sherfoam asked. I'll participate. Lin Yuan nodded. The premise of his lack of interest in the Star Alliance conference was that it was unable to bring any benefit to himself. But now, after hearing Sherfeng's description, for 6th-level citizens like them, participating in the Star Alliance conference could be very profitable. Ha 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 ha. Sherfoam laughed heartily. By the way, Sher-san, do you need me to introduce you to those star domains that need votes? Sherfoam inquired. If Lin Yuan had no star domains in mind to vote for, he could sell his vote at a high price to those star domains that needed it. Thanks a lot, Brother Sherfoam. Lin Yuan replied seriously upon hearing this. Arranging such connections was not something the ordinary evolver could accomplish. It required someone with extensive connections. No need to thank me. We are friends. Sherfoam waved his hand and then said, Just wait for me a moment, Sher-san. After Sherfoam finished speaking, his figure disappeared from sight. He obviously went to make contact. Lin Yuan sat down and waited for a while. A moment later, Sherfoam reappeared. Besides, a young man also appeared beside him. This is Sher-san. You can discuss your star domain's matters directly with him, said Sherfoam casually. Mr. Sher-san. The young man gave a slight bow to Lin Yuan and said, My name is Na Dan, from the Wangyue Starfield. This time, the conflict between our Wangyue Starfield and the Golden Dragon Star Domain will be brought up at the Star Alliance Conference. At that time, we hope that Mr. Sher-san will vote for our Wangyue Starfield. After speaking, the young man, Na Dan, respectfully placed a piece of white paper on the dining table. If Mr. Sher-san agrees, the resources of treasures listed above will be your reward. With a slight bow to Sherfoam, the young man, Na Dan, then stepped out of the personal space. TSK, Wangyue Starfield really has it tough. Less powerful than the Golden Dragon Star Domain, they can only seek help like this. Sherfoam remarked with a bit of emotion. Some powerful star domains have nurtured many 6th-level citizens who naturally vote for their homelands during the Star Alliance Conference. On the contrary, weaker star domains, with few 6th-level citizens, can only pay a huge price to seek help from 6th-level citizens of other star domains. The 3 goddesses are aware of this situation, yet they do not stop it, with the goal of motivating the various star domains to cultivate more high-level citizens. Becoming a high-level citizen doesn't require one to pioneer an evolution path or to engage in research and invention only. Heading to the battlefields of different races and fighting with different species could also earn a lot of merit points. Let's take a look at the terms given by the Wang-Yu's starfield. Shifeng glanced at the piece of white paper in front of Lin Yuan. Wang-Yu's starfield. Lin Yuan thought for a moment. If he remembered correctly, this should be the home star domain of the 8th layer evolutionist Oin, shouldn't it? Let me take a look. Lin Yuan picked up the white paper, sharing the view with Shifeng. A 7th rank soul defense treasure. Shifeng was somewhat astonished. The first treasure listed on the white paper already had him intrigued. This was a soul defense treasure, essential for guarding the soul, coveted by evolvers from all evolution paths. A thought flickered in Lin Yuan's mind. Although he owned an 8th rank soul defense treasure, that one was damaged and the time required for repairing it was unknown. In the meantime, using a 7th rank soul defense treasure as a substitute would not be a problem. Lin Yuan wasn't worried about what to do with the 7th rank soul defense treasure after the 8th rank soul defense treasure was repaired. Treasures like these, which guard the soul, were never hard to dispose of. Lin Yuan could sell it at a premium whenever he wished. Lin Yuan's gaze moved away from the first line on the white paper. He looked at the second line. Fragment of Jianmu, containing a great amount of life force, capable of remolding the flesh for a 7th rank evolver once. Comparing to the 7th rank soul defense treasure, the second item, the fragment of Jianmu, was somewhat less impressive, especially for Lin Yuan, who possessed the blood rebirth, divine skill. It's fairly superfluous. Yet just because Lin Yuan didn't need it didn't mean other evolvers wouldn't. It could be sold or traded for other items. Lin Yuan continued to look at the third line on the white paper. Aquamarine Vishuddha water can purify bodily impurities and consolidate the origin source of the flesh. The Wang-Yu starfield is quite sincere. After looking at the 3 treasures, Lin Yuan nodded slightly. These 3 treasures were all desirable by 7th rank evolvers, especially the first one. I agree to their terms? Lin Yuan looked toward Shifeng with the red nose. Whether it was the Wang-Yu starfield or the Golden Dragon star domain, neither had much to do with Lin Yuan. Voting for either side wouldn't impact Lin Yuan much. Don't rush. Let's first see what the Golden Dragon star domain's attitude is. Having said that, Shifeng disappeared once again. When Shifeng returned, a tall man dressed in a golden robe appeared beside him. Jin Tianzhao, that Wang-Yu starfield offered a not insignificant price for Shifeng's agreement. You have to up your game. Shifeng reminded him. It was clear that the man in the golden robe, named Jin Tianzhao, came from the Golden Dragon star domain. Mr. Shifeng? The man in the golden robe, Jin Tianzhao, scrutinized Lin Yuan carefully. Mr. Shifeng, is this your first time attending the Star Alliance conference? Jin Tianzhao inquired. Indeed it is. Lin Yuan nodded. The Star Alliance conference was held once every 100 years, and for a 6th level citizen, a century wasn't that long. Even if some weren't well acquainted, they more or less knew each other. Since that's the case, Mr. Shifeng, do you know about the strength of my Golden Dragon star domain? Jin Tianzhao continued to ask. Upon his inquiry, Lin Yuan remained unperturbed. However, Shifeng frowned. Jin Tianzhao, what do you mean by that? If you want Shifeng to vote for the Golden Dragon star domain, then just present your offer, instead of beating around the bush with all that nonsense. Offer? Jin Tianzhao shook his head. I'm here only to meet Mr. Shifeng and exchange a few words with him. Mr. Shifeng, you have recently become a 6th level citizen. You shouldn't make an enemy of my Golden Dragon star domain. Before Jin Tianzhao could finish, get lost. Shifeng, full of impatience, kicked the other person out of the personal space. This Jin Tianzhao is too arrogant. Who is he threatening? Shifeng appeared somewhat agitated. I thought that the Wang-Yu starfield would put some pressure on the Golden Dragon star domain, but they came straight with threats. No matter. Lin Yuan wasn't bothered. If an agreement couldn't be reached, then there was no need to negotiate. I'll go have a word with that Jin Tianzhao, see where he gets the guts from. Shifeng vanished once again. In another personal space, Shifeng glared at the man in the golden robe. What do you mean, Jin Tianzhao? San is a friend of mine. Even if you don't need San's vote, there's no need to put it that way. Feng's tone was dissatisfied. Feng, you should know, with the strength of my Golden Dragon Star domain, even if the Wangyues Starfield went around seeking help everywhere, they can't beat us. Jin Tianzhao stated indifferently. This was the confidence of coming from a powerful star domain. The Golden Dragon Star domain, with the 6th-level citizens it cultivated on its own, was the sum of several or even 10 star domains. Brother Feng, how long have you known San? You're this considerate of him already. You just like befriending those so-called friends. Jin Tianzhao shook his head as he spoke. So-called friends. Feng's expression turned peculiar. Although San just became a 6th-level citizen, he's definitely not over 1,000 years old. His future potential is limitless. Why else do you think I'd befriend him? Feng sighed. By treating San so disrespectfully, there's nothing I can do. But in a few thousand or tens of thousands of years, when San has grown stronger, I hope you can still act like you do today. A 6th-level citizen under 1,000 years old. Jin Tianzhao's expression shifted slightly. Then he calmed down. So what? Is he going to become a 7th-level citizen in the future? Even if he becomes a 7th-level citizen, he's no threat to my Golden Dragon Star domain. It's simply that. Jin Tianzhao said lightly. We stay out of each other's business, that's all. Stay out of each other's business? Feng gave Jin Tianzhao a glance before turning and leaving. Stay out of each other's business? Who is the insignificant well water? And who is the boundless river water? Heaven knows. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 16. Obtaining the treasure. Please subscribe. Personal space. Lin Yuan raised the glass on the table and took a casual sip. This Golden Dragon Star domain is truly domineering. To actually threaten a 6th-level citizen? Lin Yuan put down the glass and shook his head slightly. But as 6th-level citizens, there are distinctions. Some evolvers became 6th-level citizens by slaying different species, earning a large number of merit points in the process. Others advanced to 6th-level citizenship through invention and research, breaking new ground in technological achievements. And there were evolvers like Lin Yuan, who opened up an evolution path, ultimately advancing to 6th-level citizenship. Without a doubt, those who open up evolution paths are the rarest among 6th-level citizens. Lin Yuan and Feng belong to this category, or rather, high-level citizens from the founder's virtual world all fall into this group. But no matter how rare, they were still only 6th-level citizens. Within the Human Civilization Alliance, 6th-level citizens have a very high status, but unless they hold important positions, they don't have much power. Ordinary evolvers and citizens dare not show any disrespect when they meet a 6th-level citizen, but the Golden Dragon Star domain is different. As one of the top 3 powerful star domains in the Anon Star Alliance, the Golden Dragon Star domain does not need to please other 6th-level citizens as much as the Wangyues Starfield strives to do. After all, the Golden Dragon Star domain itself has cultivated many 6th-level citizens and has numerous friends. Such is the confidence of a powerful star domain. That's also true. After all, I have not revealed my other identities. In the eyes of Jin Tianzhao, I am just a newly promoted 6th-level citizen, likely to remain so for the rest of my life, so there's no need to take me too seriously, Lin Yuan thought to himself. A 6th-level citizen who wishes to advance to 7th-level citizenship needs 2 million merit points. Such a vast amount of merit points gives even the Golden Dragon Star domain a headache, let alone a newly promoted 6th-level citizen. Nearly 99% of 6th-level citizens are unable to accumulate 2 million merit points in their lifetime. San. At this moment, Feng returned and greeted Lin Yuan. That Jin Tianzhao, he's just like that, too proud. Don't take it to heart, Feng comforted. He only had a casual acquaintance with Jin Tianzhao. If it wasn't for the affair between the Wangyue Starfield and the Golden Dragon Star Domain, he wouldn't have invited Jin Tianzhao over. It's fine, Lin Yuan said with a smile. It didn't matter whether it was Jin Tianzhao or even the Golden Dragon Star Domain. At most, they would make empty threats. As for going further, they wouldn't dare. The three goddesses of the human alliance were not for show. Prohibiting escalation of internal conflicts was a red line.
Besides,
even if Jin Tianzhao wanted to do something, he did not know Lin Yuan's true identity. The identity that Lin Yuan showed to the outside world was, at most, that of a 6th-level citizen of the Anan Star Alliance, with good relations with Feng, a member of the Founder's World. More than that, perhaps Feng guessed that Lin Yuan was not very old, but that was all. But the Golden Dragon Star Domain is indeed powerful, having independently opened up 3 battlefields of different races, fighting against 3 species, with the strength of a single domain. Feng said in amazement. The Golden Dragon Star Master is indeed remarkable. Lin Yuan nodded. The might of the Golden Dragon Star Master was not inferior to that of Qikuan Star Lord, belonging to the level of invincible existence among 8th-layer evolvers. In the vast Anan Star Alliance with hundreds of star domains, there were more than 1,000 8th-layer evolvers, but only a few were on the same level as Qikuan Star Lord and Golden Dragon Star Master. With such a Star Master at its helm, the Golden Dragon Star Domain already possessed the strength to independently open up battlefields of different races. To the Golden Dragon Star Domain, these battlefields were a source of copious merit points as well as a training ground for their evolvers. Indeed, the Qikuan Star Domain had also independently opened up 4 battlefields of different races. However, the ones in the Qikuan Star Domain did not have permanent spatial rifts. Permanent spatial rifts can only be formed by the powers of a supreme being. The power of a supreme being referred to here does not require the supreme being to act personally. Supreme weapons can also achieve this, but the permanent spatial rifts they create are far smaller than those formed by a supreme being's direct intervention. Even so, most battlefields of different races do not possess permanent spatial rifts. Alright, don't worry too much about Jin Tianzhao. With San's talent, he'll have his comeuppance in the future. Feng said, seemingly probing. Through his interactions with Lin Yuan, he felt that Lin Yuan must be quite young. He definitely would not exceed 1,000 years old. At such a young age to have advanced to 6th-level citizenship and to be a member of the Founder's World, clearly the evolution path he opened was no simple feat. You jest, Feng. What means do I have to make the Golden Dragon Star Domain suffer? Lin Yuan said with a laugh. If Feng had known Lin Yuan's real age in the main world was not yet 30, he would probably not probe but first make sure he wasn't dreaming. So now do I choose the Wangyue Starfield? Lin Yuan asked. Since the Golden Dragon Star Domain had no intention of compensating him, Lin Yuan's vote would naturally go to the Wangyue Starfield. After all, he was rather covetous of that 7th-rank soul defense treasure. It could be useful for a while. No rush, no rush. As 6th-level citizens, we only have 1 vote in each Star Alliance conference. Let's wait and see. As long as it doesn't concern our home star domain or any star domain with which we have a history, we'll support whoever offers the best price, Feng said. Any issue brought up at the Star Alliance conference would be such that, regardless of which side triumphed, there would be no significant impact on the overall situation of human civilization. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 16. Obtaining the treasure. Please subscribe. _2. It was because of this that the three goddesses had entrusted decision-making power to higher-level citizens. It was also one of the hidden benefits belonging to higher-level citizens. Next, Shifeng brought over 7 or 8 evolvers. They were representatives from various star domains of the Anan Star Alliance. These evolvers were quite courteous to Lin Yuan, as powerful star domains like the Golden Dragon star domain were rare. Furthermore, with proud individuals such as Jin Tianzhao, such people were even rarer. Generally speaking, everyone was quite polite to 6th-level citizens. Even if their negotiations did not succeed, there would be no threats, because there was no point in it. How about it? Have you made your choice? Shifeng looked at Lin Yuan with interest. He had already reached an agreement with a certain star domain. The offer from that star domain also satisfied Shifeng. Now, he was mainly curious about Lin Yuan's choice. Let's go with Wang Yue's starfield. Lin Yuan thought for a moment and then spoke. The representatives from the other 7 or 8 star domains had conditions that matched those of Wang Yue's starfield. Logically speaking, Lin Yuan's choice of any one of them would have been similar. However, Lin Yuan did possess the legacy of 8th-layer evolutionist Oyin, and Wang Yue's starfield was Oyin's home star domain. In such a situation, with conditions being equal, Lin Yuan naturally leaned towards Wang Yue's starfield. Good. Shifeng nodded. He immediately contacted the young man Na Dan from Wang Yue's starfield. A moment later, the young man Na Dan appeared in the personal space. Thank you, Mr. Shirsan, for your assistance. I represent Wang Yue's starfield, and we are immensely grateful. The young man Na Dan spoke with a slightly respectful tone. His offer was no different from several others, and Lin Yuan choosing him naturally warranted thanks. We each take what we need. Lin Yuan waved his hand and said casually. He was not helping Wang Yue's starfield for nothing. This is the password for Shuntong Group's safebox. Mr. Shirsen only needs to log onto the Shuntong Group website, enter the safebox service, and then he can access the reward. The young man Na Dan sent Lin Yuan a string of numbers. Shuntong Group, being the largest transport group in the Human Civilization Alliance, took privacy very seriously in their safebox service. The young man Na Dan placed the treasure in a safe box of the Shuntong Group and then handed over the password to Lin Yuan. With the password, Lin Yuan could claim ownership of the rewards in the safe box and then just have Shuntong Group deliver it. The entire process was such that neither party knew the other's location, the delivery location, and so on. In this respect, with Human Civilization's assurance, it was absolutely trustworthy. Even Chikuan star lords like 8th-layer invincible beings used the transport services of Shuntong Group. Good. Lin Yuan wrote down the password and nodded. Shirsen, about that soul defense treasure, if you ever decide not to keep it, you must tell me. I will buy it for the highest price. Shifeng immediately said. He was also very eager to have that soul defense treasure, but alas, compared to another treasure, Shifeng still chose the latter. Certainly. Lin Yuan nodded. The 7th-rank soul defense treasure was only for transition. Once Lin Yuan stepped into the 8th rank, or repaired that 8th-rank soul defense treasure, he naturally wouldn't need this 7th-rank soul defense treasure. Every time the Star Alliance Assembly convenes, we 6th-level citizens have only voting rights. As for actual decision-making, it's still those counselors. Shifeng said with a sigh. The prerequisite for being a counselor in the Anan Star Alliance is being a 7th-level citizen. Although the difference is only 1 level between a 6th and 7th-level citizen, in terms of status and privileges, it's a qualitative change. Not a single 6th-level citizen does not yearn to become a 7th-level citizen, but mere yearning is useless. It also requires a tremendous amount of merit points to meet the requirements for promotion to a 7th-level citizen. 7th-level citizen. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly serious. For a 6th-level citizen to be promoted to a 7th-level citizen, 2 million merit points are needed, akin to killing 2 8th-rank aliens on the battlefields of different species. But there are still many human 7th-rank evolvers who haven't escaped yet. They are the next primary targets of the Heiyuan clan. Yes. Shuyo took a deep breath and returned to his position. Did I actually escape too? The armored man followed in the direction Lin Yuan had fled and unexpectedly escaped the battlefields of different races without obstructions. It's the Yuan brothers. The armored man immediately realized why his escape was so smooth. Considering the circumstances just now, as a 6th-rank evolver like him, he should have received significant attention from the Heiyuan different species. At least one 7th-rank evolver should have been dispatched to stop him. But Lin Yuan, with a shockingly powerful technique, had severely killed a 7th-rank member of the Heiyuan clan, resulting in a gap in that area's blockade. That surprisingly allowed him such an easy escape. The strength of the Yuan brothers must be really strong, perhaps nearing a commander level. The armored man, grateful for his fortune, then thought back to the scene of Lin Yuan killing that 7th-rank different species. So swift and decisive, the opponent didn't even have time to react. It was unbelievable. That 7th-rank different species probably possessed marquee-level strength. With such strength, aside from a 7th-rank king, who could kill so effortlessly. Just a moment ago, I thought of having the Yuan brother follow me for protection. The armored man felt somewhat embarrassed with Lin Yuan's previously displayed strength. It's likely that instead of him protecting Lin Yuan, he would have been dragging Lin Yuan down. When Lin Yuan first arrived at the battlefields of different races, it was he who came forward to welcome him. The armored man had then invited Lin Yuan to go to the central battlefield to kill different species together, but he was refused. He had thought Lin Yuan was weak or not good at fighting. Now it seems he was completely wrong. Quickly proceed with Wormhole Shuttle. The armored man immediately took out a cosmic spaceship from his storage ring, then activated Wormhole Shuttle, and like flowing water, soon disappeared out of sight. 60 light-years from the battlefields of different races. The force of space subtly started to fluctuate. A dark spaceship appeared. Lin Yuan was piloting the spaceship, continuously heading towards the territory of the human civilization. Wormhole Shuttle has a cooldown period under normal circumstances and cannot be continually used. With my current combat power under a sneak attack, I have the possibility of killing a 7th-rank marquee. Lin Yuan began to reassess everything that had just happened. That 7th-rank different species was probably equivalent to a human 7th-rank marquee. Normally, facing Lin Yuan's Tien primordial spirit, even if defeated, should have been able to struggle for a while. But the opponent underestimated Lin Yuan too much, leading to an instant kill. One must know, this was only Lin Yuan's Tien primordial spirit. After stepping into the 7th rank, due to the creation of an inner world, the strength of Lin Yuan's main body had increased the most. As for the 2 primordial spirits, they were much weaker. Even so, they could still sweep through ordinary 7th rank marquee levels. If it were the main body's turn, even a 7th rank king would have to be suppressed. After all, among the 7th rank evolvers, the power of the world essentially amounts to cheating. Continue the shuttle. Soon, the Wormhole Shuttle's cooldown period ended. Lin Yuan did not hesitate to start another round of shuttle. A day or 2 later, Lin Yuan officially entered the territory of human civilization. Only at this moment did Lin Yuan finally breathe a slight sigh of relief. The Black Abyss clan, no matter how crazy, wouldn't dare to pursue into the territory of human civilization. Even the insect race wouldn't dare enter the territory of human civilization unless absolutely necessary, because that would mean escalating the war. Whether it's human civilization or other peak clans of the cosmic starry sky, the reason for establishing the battlefields of different races is to try to keep the war confined to those battlefields. If there were no constraints, everyone invading each other's territories would lead to much greater losses. Hurry up and go back. Lin Yuan waited for the cooldown to end and then initiated another Wormhole Shuttle. Battlefields of different races. The fighting gradually calmed down. The Unicorn Man's gaze was icy, with the stocky man, Shuayo, reporting next to him. Lord, during this blockade and killing operation, we killed 36 human 7th rank evolvers, 572 6th rank evolvers, and 2,837 5th and 4th rank evolvers. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 19. Numerous arrogant talents in the world. Who dares to stand side by side with you? Please subscribe. _2. Although the Yuan clan's focus is mainly on 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers, they generally don't actively pursue the killing of 4th rank and 5th rank evolvers. However, if 4th rank or 5th rank evolvers intrude into the attack range of a powerful member of the Yuan clan, it comes as no surprise if they are taken down. Among the 36 7th rank evolvers, 15 possess the doppelganger skill. Among the 572 6th rank evolvers, 127 possess the skill. Shueyo continued to speak. A small portion of 7th rank evolvers and the majority of 8th layer evolvers, in addition to contemplating space rules, are also involved with the rules of causality. The rules of causality, while not as foundational as the space rules, are enigmatic and unpredictable. Those who have a deeper understanding of the rules of causality can develop many bizarre techniques, such as the curse killing skill. The curse killing skill is just one of the many applications of the causality rules. The uses of this rule are plentiful. For example, when Shueyo kills an evolver, the moment the killing intent surges, a connection of cause and effect is established between the two. If Shueyo successfully kills the target, the causality will cease to exist with the death of the person, which means he would no longer feel any causal connection to that evolver, thus confirming the target's demise. If, after the killing, a faint sense of causality is still perceived, it could mean that the target has not died and likely has techniques like the doppelganger skill at their disposal. Indeed. The unicorn man nodded slightly upon hearing this. Although the result is quite different from the expectation of completely purging all human evolvers, achieving such results is still quite remarkable. At least 21 7th rank human evolvers have died. The remaining 7th rank evolvers, even if their true bodies are alive, have suffered a severe cost with the death of a doppelganger. On Chikuan main star, Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged. Not only did battlefield C24763 experience a purge by different species at the same time, but there were also 5,463 other alien battlefields undergoing the same purge. Lin Yuan furrowed his brows slightly as he received the news. All these battlefields of different races under the Insect Race Alliance. Is the insect race really intending to start a full-scale war with the human race? Lin Yuan was puzzled. Generally speaking, it was rare for peak clans to engage in serious conflict. Whether it be the human race, the insect race, or other major peak clans, they all had proven their might in the long wars of the past. It was implausible for one side to completely annihilate the other. Thus, the intensity of the wars was tacitly maintained within a certain range. There must be a reason for this. Lin Yuan connected his consciousness to the virtual world. Personal space. Feng stepped out from the void, his red nose unmistakable. San, little brother. If you want to know why the insect race is going crazy, I happen to know some inside information. Feng said with a grin. As a 6th rank citizen and a founder of an evolution path, Feng had a vast network of connections. What's the reason? Lin Yuan asked. Even if Feng didn't know, Lin Yuan had planned to ask several senior fellow disciples, or even inquire directly from Chikuan Star Lord, his teacher. It was only natural for Lin Yuan to be curious and ask a few more questions about such significant developments on the alien battlefields. It's because of the large alien battlefield. Feng didn't keep him in suspense, speaking in a hushed tone. Large alien battlefield? Lin Yuan felt a slight shock in his heart. There are over 2 million battlefields opened up between humans and different species, with just over 100 of them being large battlefields. Large alien battlefields are where the human civilization clashes with other peak clans. Even supreme beings occasionally turn their gaze toward the large alien battlefields and may sometimes intervene. The reason the insect race is targeting small and medium-sized battlefields is because of an event that is about to take place above battlefield S-111. Feng explained mysteriously. The top oracle of the insect race has predicted that, soon, a foreign visitor will come to battlefield S-111 through the eternal spatial rift. To be precise, it's the corpse of a visitor from beyond. This corpse must be very important, so important that the insect race wants to have it all to themselves, ordering many clans within the alliance to put forth their full strength to cause trouble for our human civilization. This is in order to gain an advantageous position in the upcoming struggle for this corpse. Feng told him. I see. Lin Yuan appeared thoughtful. Eternal spatial rifts on the large alien battlefields are enormous, spanning tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of miles, and occasionally foreign visitors cross through such vast spatial rifts to enter the main world. What was the outcome? Lin Yuan asked. Whose hands did the corpse of the extraterrestrial visitor that floated in from the spatial rift fall into? What else could have happened? The insect race was able to deduce this matter. How could our human civilization be completely unaware? Red-Nosed Feng shook his head and said, Besides, the supreme beings from the several other peak clans also approached, wanting a share of the spoils. In the end, the outsider's corpse was torn to pieces, and our human civilization should have gotten a part of it. After finishing his statement, Red-Nosed Feng added with some surprise, I wonder what is so miraculous about that corpse that even the supreme beings vied for it. That's a question for the supreme beings. Lin Yuan shook his head. After chatting with Red-Nosed Feng for a few more lines, Lin Yuan then disconnected the virtual world connection and his consciousness returned to reality. The teacher is looking for me? Is it about the matters on the alien battlefield? Lin Yuan suddenly received a message from the Qikuan Star Lord, asking him and his fellow disciples to come to him. The sudden foul play of the various species from the insect race alliance on the battlefield would definitely not be left as is. Next, it would be the human civilization's turn to retaliate. Outside the Crimson Hall, Zhuge, the fourth disciple, and the other peak masters stood chatting idly. They too had heard about the events that transpired on the alien battlefield, and their conversation mainly revolved around it. As the disciples chatted, they eventually talked about Lin Yuan. We consider ourselves evolutionary geniuses, belonging to the first class of outstanding talents, but when compared with our little junior brother. The sixth disciple sighed. Even now, he was still shocked by Lin Yuan's step to the 7th rank. The 7th rank. This was the 7th rank. It's not cabbage on the side of the road. Something you step into just because you wish to? Indeed, how exactly does our junior brother cultivate? Could it be that he always practices so diligently that he doesn't even dream? The other disciples exchanged glances, all filled with deep emotion. The entire outer world was abuzz when the 13th peak master stepped into the 7th rank, and inside the Red Kuan lineage, the shock was not much less, all filled with astonishment. It should be known that the peak masters were taken as disciples by the Qikuan Star Lord because of their undeniable talents, worthy of the title of evolutionary prodigies. Even though the first, second, and third disciples had stepped into the 7th rank, Zhuge and the other peak masters had no doubt or questioning about themselves, believing that they would eventually break through to the same level one day. Until they met the little junior brother Lin Yuan. Junior brother is coming. Zhuge and the other peak masters seemed to sense something. Smiles appeared on their faces as they looked towards the figure walking over from a distance. It was Lin Yuan. 4th disciple, 5th disciple, 6th disciple. Lin Yuan greeted each one in turn. Junior brother, the teacher is waiting for us inside. Let's hurry in. Zhuge, the 4th disciple, spoke up. All right. Lin Yuan nodded and walked into the Crimson Hall. Zhuge, the 4th disciple, and the other disciples also followed him in. For some reason, Zhuge and the others intentionally fell half a step behind Lin Yuan, not walking shoulder to shoulder. Lin Yuan seemed to notice something and stopped to look back at his fellow disciples. Disciples, there really is no need for this. Lin Yuan couldn't help saying, he didn't feel that stepping into the 7th rank made him thoroughly superior. Some things and some people still needed to be analyzed specifically. When Lin Yuan had just joined the Red Kuan lineage and became the 13th peak master, the fellow disciples had taken great care of him. "You're thinking too much, junior brother. We just feel a bit of pressure walking alongside you." Zhuge, the fourth disciple, spoke the truth. "Well, okay then." Lin Yuan thought about it and didn't say much, continuing towards the depths of the palace. Zhuge, the fourth disciple, and the other peak master disciples exchanged glances. With the talents Lin Yuan was currently displaying, in several decades or a few hundred years, he likely has the potential to challenge the eighth layer, to become a great figure at the same level as the Star Lord. Such potential, such talent, such ability. With countless prodigies in the world, who dares walk shoulder to shoulder with you? All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 20, The Teacher's Gift. Please subscribe. Crimson Palace. Lin Yuan and his 12 senior brothers stood below. Shikuan Star-Lord, the teacher, sat in the high seat as Lin Yuan glanced at the other senior brothers. He noticed that the senior brothers all behaved very casually. Shikuan Star-Lord wasn't the type of teacher who was very imposing, preferring a friendly approach with his disciples. "Everyone has arrived." Shikuan Star-Lord nodded slightly. Actually, there were many 6th rank and 7th rank evolvers in the Shikuan lineage, but at its core, naturally the Star-Lord and various peak masters were the main focus. Within the Cosmic Human Alliance, the relationship between a teacher and his disciples even surpassed that of the closest kinship. Once the master-disciple relationship was confirmed, it truly required commitment. In the past several tens of thousands of years, Shikuan Star-Lord hadn't taken any disciples, not only because he hadn't met any satisfactory evolvers, but also because accepting a disciple wasn't just a matter of saying so. If in the future a disciple caused some trouble outside, Shikuan Star-Lord would have to step in and offer protection. Those evolvers who passed the test of 7-Star Cave and joined the Red Kuan lineage, strictly speaking, weren't Shikuan Star-Lord's disciples, and they weren't even disciples of the 12 peak masters. They could only be considered members of the Red Kuan lineage. The Red Kuan lineage nurtured them, and in turn, they served the Red Kuan lineage. Both sides gave to each other. I'll keep it short. You've also heard about the commotion caused by the insect race on the battlefield. Although our human civilization's top prophets discovered it in advance, and the loss wasn't substantial, we can't let this matter slide so easily. Shikuan Star-Lord spoke in a calm tone. Taking as an example the battlefield C24763, where Lin Yuan's Taiyin primordial spirit was, the He Yuan clan wanted to cleanse the battlefield. Even though many human evolvers fled in all directions, there were still numerous 6th and 7th rank evolvers who died. This type of loss, compared to the overall war situation, wasn't significant. At least the insect race's planning failed, and the gaze of human civilization's supreme beings hadn't been drawn away by those medium-sized and small-sized otherworldly battlefields. But how could human civilization tolerate such a loss without reason? In the over 2 million years of the Starry Sea era, human civilization, in the eyes of the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky, differed little from demons. If you dare to disregard the baseline of warfare and strike with full force, wait for the crazed retaliation of human civilization. Eldest brother, you lead the army of evolvers to battlefield C34123. Second brother, you lead the army of evolvers to battlefield C459543. Third brother. Shikuan Star-Lord issued his orders following this pattern. It wasn't just the Shikuan Star domain. The entire Anan Star Alliance and many other star alliances, one star domain after another, began transferring troops and increasing their investment in the battlefields. Ever since human civilization left its homeworld, there has always been a constant launch of battlefields, but at different times, the intensity and fierceness of the battlefields varied. For example, before the insect race's action, human civilization actually did not invest much power into the battlefields. The same was true for the other few peak civilizations. After all these years of fighting, they had formed some kind of tacit understanding. But now, since the insect race actively broke the tacit agreement, human civilization naturally wouldn't indulge them. On the battlefield, all actions should be centered around the goddess of freedom. Chikuan's Star Lord said. Human external expansion and invasion were all coordinated by the goddess of freedom. With the goddess of freedom, every bit of human force could be fully utilized. This was the key to human civilization's successive victories on the battlefield. Teacher, what about me? Lin Yuan looked at how all 12 senior brothers had assignments and he had been overlooked, so he couldn't help but ask. Come here and take a look, just get familiar with it. Chikuan's Star Lord shook his head and said his main reason for inviting Lin Yuan over this time was to get him accustomed to the atmosphere of the battlefield. As for sending Lin Yuan to the battlefield, Chikuan's Star Lord really couldn't bear to do it. Although it's said that even talented evolvers need to be tempered on the battlefield, that prerequisite is for when they hit a bottleneck and various attempts to break through have failed, and they have no choice but to make such a reluctant decision. Given the talent that Lin Yuan had shown, there was no sign he was trapped by any bottlenecks. Sending him to a battlefield fraught with danger at this time would be foolish. Junior brother, once you cultivate an avatar, you can go to the battlefield, the eldest senior brother said with a smile. The 12 senior brothers, including Chikuan's Star Lord, didn't know about Lin Yuan's Yin spirit and Yang spirit, which were equivalent to having 2 avatars. The Yin spirit and Yang spirit avatars, although not unique, could make one suspect that they were related to the martial path evolutionary path. Teacher, what exactly happened on the large battlefield? The mysterious corpse that drifted in from the eternal spatial rift. What's the situation with that? After tasks were assigned, third senior brother asked out of curiosity. The reason the insect race broke the tacit agreement was because of that mysterious corpse. This corpse also attracted other peak clan's supreme beings who didn't hesitate to personally intervene, eventually tearing that corpse into pieces. On battlefield S-111, the presence of the supreme beings was overwhelming, and this matter couldn't be concealed at all. As a result, many people were very curious about that corpse. A treasure that could provoke a battle amongst several supreme beings was extremely rare. At the level of supreme beings, every action was an embodiment of the universal truths, with no need for external objects. That corpse. Chikuan's Star Lord pondered for a moment. Seeing this, Lin Yuan also appeared attentive. The chaotic flows in the void outside the worlds, depending on their intensity, can be divided into different regions. The chaotic void outside the immortal Tao world where Lin Yuan had traversed for the 5th time wasn't too harsh, allowing those with 7th rank strength to barely survive. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 20 The Teacher's Gift. Please subscribe. _2. Even so, Lin Yuan was reluctant to stray too far from the immortal Tao world, needing to return from time to time for rest. As for the chaotic void outside of the main world, battlefield C24763, Lin Yuan observed the eternal spatial rift and inferred that its intensity was far greater than that of the immortal Tao world. The grayish aura of utter destruction made Lin Yuan's scalp tingle. Indeed, it was as he thought. Lin Yuan perused the Red Kuan lineage's information. Even the Chikuan Star Lord, an invincible evolver of the 8th layer, dared not enter the spatial rift casually. And that otherworldly visitor's corpse, able to withstand the chaotic void and enter the main world, maintaining its form in death and not being torn apart, is quite unfathomable. Keep in mind, on large alien battlefields, although otherworldly visitors often come through spatial rifts, they are alive, employing various methods and even treasures and weapons to resist the erosion of the chaotic void. But to rely on nothing else, using only bodily strength to withstand the chaotic void outside the main world. How strong must that body be? I don't have much insight into this, said the Chikuan Star Lord, shaking his head. The secrets of that corpse, he estimated, were known only to the supreme beings and a few top-tier diviners. I see. The third senior brother felt somewhat disappointed. He had thought his teacher would know some insider information. All right. You all may leave. Prepare yourselves, for it's time for a counterattack from our human civilization. The Chikuan Star Lord waved his hand. Yes. The senior brothers nodded, turning to leave the Crimson Hall. Yes. Lin Yuan was also planning to leave. At that moment, the voice of the Chikuan Star Lord rang out next to his ear. My good disciple, stay behind. In the Crimson Hall, only Lin Yuan and the Chikuan Star Lord remained. The Chikuan Star Lord looked at Lin Yuan, his thoughts filled with sentiment. Before meeting Lin Yuan, the Chikuan Star Lord believed that teaching a disciple was an extremely difficult task. Different disciples have different traits, either strengths or weaknesses, and one must tailor their teaching methods accordingly. Only by doing so could one possibly maximize the potential of a disciple. But tailoring one's teaching, while easy to say, is extremely hard in practice. The Chikuan Star Lord's great reputation for educating disciples was built on this principle. Then he met Lin Yuan. For the first time, the Chikuan Star Lord felt that teaching a disciple was not so difficult. In fact, it was quite easy. Since he had taken Lin Yuan as his disciple, he hadn't done much, yet the latter was already at the 7th rank. Logically speaking, after you stepped into the 6th rank, I would have given you some treasures. The Chikuan Star Lord said. For evolvers, the 6th rank is a critical period. The 12 Peak Masters also received the gifts prepared by the Chikuan Star Lord when they were at the 6th rank. This was the teacher's way of looking after his disciples. But your cultivation speed was too fast. Before I had even decided on a gift, you reached the 7th rank. The Chikuan Star Lord spoke with a tone of helplessness. Gifts, too, need to be custom-made. What is treasured at the 6th rank might not hold as much value once one reaches the 7th rank. Teacher. Lin Yuan blinked his eyes. In truth, he had already been restraining his speed of reaching the 7th rank. Had it not been for his desire to forge a perfect 7th stage chapter, Lin Yuan could have breached the 7th rank half a year ago, right after his 5th shuttle. Now that you're at the 7th rank, under normal circumstances, I should prepare a 7th layer treasure for you, but I feel that you won't stay long at the 7th rank, at most a few hundred years. Given that, a 7th rank treasure might not be of much help to you. How much can it really assist you in a few hundred years? The Chikuan Star Lord said, shaking his head. So this time, I intend to take care of everything in one go. Be it the 6th rank, 7th rank, or even your eventual 8th rank, I'll account for them all. The Chikuan Star Lord flipped his hand, and a fist-sized, irregular metal floated in the air. This block of irregular metal, merely upon its appearance, began to subtly influence its surroundings, even causing the forces of space itself to slowly undulate. What is this? Lin Yuan observed carefully. That piece of irregular metal had a very special feeling, stirring an uncontrollable desire within him. To possess it. Obtain it. I must obtain it. Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred slightly. The numerous distracting thoughts quickly dissipated. This object. Lin Yuan looked at it in astonishment, and just by watching it for a while, he was influenced. This irregular piece of metal was somewhat inconceivable. This object is called Origin Fine Gold. Back in the day, to obtain it, I, among several other alien strong ones, fought for hundreds of years. If I hadn't made a timely retreat back to the human civilization territory, it probably would have provoked a 9th rank alien race to take action. The Chikuan Star Lord said with a smile. This. Lin Yuan couldn't help but hold his breath. The Chikuan Star Lord was an invincible existence of the 8th layer. What is meant by invincible of the 8th layer? It does not mean that the Chikuan Star Lord has no opponents at the 8th layer, but rather that at this level, in one-on-one combat, no one could utterly defeat him. Of course, this isn't entirely accurate. If an evolver of the 8th layer wielded supreme weapons, the Chikuan Star Lord would likely have to flee. But how many supreme weapons are there? And the Chikuan Star Lord would just be fleeing, not falling. When the Chikuan Star Lord speaks of fighting several other 8th layer alien strong ones for hundreds of years, this undoubtedly means these alien strong ones, too, were invincible beings of the 8th layer. To compel such invincible beings of the 8th layer to fight desperately and even ultimately attract the attention of a 9th rank alien race. Keep in mind, the 9th rank alien race is basically equivalent to the highest combat power of powerful clans, below only the peak clans. Teacher, this is too precious. I can't accept it. Although Lin Yuan didn't know what origin fine gold was, just by listening to the Chikuan Star Lord's description, he knew that the value of this object definitely reached the 9th rank level. Though the origin fine gold is precious, it is of little use to me now. The Chikuan Star Lord shook his head as he spoke. What he longed for now was to step into the 9th rank. As for the origin fine gold, indeed, if he invested the required heart force, he could indeed boost his combat power by a fraction or two. But being invincible at the 8th layer already, advancing his combat power by a fraction or two carried no practical significance. Against other invincible strong ones of the 8th layer, he would still not be able to win. Then I thank you, teacher. Lin Yuan said with slight gratitude. The rule crystal the Chikuan Star Lord had previously given him could let an evolver comprehend the fire system rules embedded within. A rule crystal was part of the Chikuan Star Lord's collection. Gifting it to Lin Yuan was a trivial matter. But the origin fine gold, just from Lin Yuan's first impression, it far surpassed the rule crystal. The origin fine gold is a growth-oriented treasure, best nurtured at the 7th rank. Its most precious quality, aside from its growth potential, is its malleability. Disciple, when you nurture the origin fine gold, you can shape it according to your will, turning it into offensive weapons, defensive weapons, and so on. The Chikuan Star Lord continued. Theoretically speaking, the upper limit of the origin fine gold depends on the evolver's own limits. If you step into the 8th layer in the future, you could elevate the quality of the origin fine gold to the 8th layer. If you manage to break through to the 9th rank, it can be further improved. The Chikuan Star Lord looked at Lin Yuan. He felt somewhat relieved. This time there was no need to worry about Lin Yuan's cultivation speed being too fast. The specific methods of nurturing the origin fine gold will be sent to you by mail by me, detailing the instructions, said the Chikuan Star Lord. Yes. Lin Yuan nodded. Next, the Chikuan Star Lord's thoughts stirred slightly. The irregular metal floating in front of him flew towards Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan raised his hand to catch it. This sensation? Lin Yuan inwardly marveled. On the surface, the origin fine gold appeared to be metal, and thus should be extremely hard. However, once in his hands, Lin Yuan's first impression of the origin fine gold was that it was soft and squishy. It felt like a ball that would dent inward with a bit of pressure. It's truly marvelous. Lin Yuan kept observing it, constantly touching. All right then. Go back and study it, said the Chikuan Star Lord, waving his hand. If there's anything you don't understand, you can come to me. Yes. Lin Yuan put away the origin fine gold and turned to leave the Red Palace. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed the story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 21. The 6th Shuttle. Please subscribe. Carrying the origin fine gold capable of causing 8th layer invincible powerhouses to fight for their lives, Lin Yuan soon returned to the 13 Peaks Great Hall. As soon as he got back, Lin Yuan took out the origin fine gold and continued to study it. How to use it? The teacher's email arrived. Lin Yuan connected his consciousness to the virtual world and started reading the email. To nurture the origin fine gold, you must first perform a blood ritual to claim ownership. The blood mentioned here is not ordinary blood, but blood containing fragments of the soul. Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. In the main world, the soul is the most fundamental thing, and as for the physical body, there are methods like seizure that allow one to switch bodies, but the soul remains unchangeable. Let's begin. Lin Yuan extended his hand and forced out a drop of blood. This drop of blood, spherical and viscous, would have reabsorbed into the skin had Lin Yuan not controlled it. Hiss! As that drop of Lin Yuan's blood fell, it was quickly absorbed by the origin fine gold.
Suddenly,
Lin Yuan faintly felt a subtle connection forming between himself and the origin fine gold. Next is nurturing it. Lin Yuan grabbed the origin fine gold, only to see this irregularly shaped metal melt like flowing water, merging into Lin Yuan's body through his skin. After entering Lin Yuan's body, the origin fine gold instinctually started gathering rapidly around the Dantianqi Sea, just outside that internal small world. Strands of world force, centered around the inner world, slowly spread toward Lin Yuan's limbs and bones, enhancing his physical body. A portion of this world force, after passing through the origin fine gold, was not diminished at all. Instead, it gained an extremely pure aura. The origin fine gold itself was also refined a bit. Now, can I control the origin fine gold and shape it in the direction I desire? Lin Yuan closely observed the changes in the origin fine gold, silently pondering. The origin fine gold has two major features. One is its growth nature. Even if Lin Yuan was to advance to the 9th rank in the future, it would still be useful. The other is its malleability. As long as Lin Yuan wishes, he can shape the origin fine gold into any weapon. An offensive weapon? A defensive weapon? A soul defense weapon? All possible. However, to elevate the level of the origin fine gold, I must spend a lot of time in slow nurturing. Lin Yuan slightly frowned. Lots of time? According to the Qikuan Star Lord, though Lin Yuan's cultivation speed was fast, it was bound to slow down after stepping into the 8th layer. Every being, upon entering the 8th layer, would experience a long period of dormancy. Then, Lin Yuan would have plenty of time to nurture the origin fine gold. Perhaps I can take the origin fine gold into world travel for nurturing? A thought suddenly occurred to Lin Yuan. Spending 50 strands of world-breaking origin force, Lin Yuan could perform physical travels. But if it's just about carrying a weapon, the consumption of world-breaking origin force would be much lower. 1 strand of world-breaking origin force. Lin Yuan's mind delved deep into his consciousness, held a brief conversation with the door to the Myriad Realms, and concluded. Ever since stepping into the 6th rank, Lin Yuan found it possible to have some basic interactions with the door to the Myriad Realms. A strand of world-breaking origin force, it's not too much. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, contemplating. If I continue to grow, the innate abilities of the demon tree will gradually be unsealed and available for use. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The demon tree seed, when it first entered this world, was too weak, and so it was easily oppressed to death. But now, having survived the hardest period, Lin Yuan felt that his situation would become increasingly easier. In the time that followed, Lin Yuan continued using the lush green leaves as bait while seeking enlightenment, hunting the less intelligent purple-eyed rabbits, and even attracting and mercilessly dispatching other demonic beasts that gave him the opportunity and came to him willingly. Time passed, and after half a year and countless killings later, Lin Yuan's size had reached 7 to 8 meters, with hundreds of branches he could control. The purple-eyed rabbits within a couple of miles had almost been hunted to extinction by Lin Yuan. In a little while, I can consider changing locations. Lin Yuan made up his mind. Other trees would be immobile unless they became spirits, but Lin Yuan was different. He could easily change locations if he wished. Just as Lin Yuan contemplated moving in that direction, suddenly he felt a stir. He looked towards a certain direction. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 2. 50 years later. Subscribe, please. Over there. Lin Yuan's mind tensed up. Since his consciousness had descended into this world, Lin Yuan had only encountered various kinds of demonic beasts and feral creatures. As for others, he had seldom come into contact with them. The main reason was that Lin Yuan was located in the Yunwu mountain range, which was a paradise for demonic and feral beasts. Is someone coming? Lin Yuan extended his senses and discovered that a young man and woman were approaching from several miles away. Senior brother, choosing Yunwu mountain range as the place for our training expedition, isn't it too risky? The young woman said in a low, cautious voice. How do you capture tiger cubs without entering the tiger's den? Junior sister, nowadays our sect has brought out many foundational heritages to resist the invasion of the foreign evil god. As long as we can get through this training, we will gain great benefits and opportunities. The young man continued, Yunwu mountain range, although dangerous, those demonic beasts are much easier to deal with than the puppets of the foreign evil god. If we are afraid of these beasts, how will we deal with the foreign evil god in the future? What you say makes sense, senior brother. Hearing this, the young woman looked at the young man with admiration in her gaze. Several miles away, Lin Yuan cautiously observed the young couple. Due to the language barrier, Lin Yuan didn't know what they were actually saying, but through their expressions and behavior, he deduced that the young man and woman likely came from an external force, equivalent to the second layer, probably disciples. Lin Yuan thought to himself, the time flow speed in this world compared to the main world was 600 to 1, which absolutely shouldn't be underestimated. The strongest might reach 7th rank peak. Since discovering the young man and woman, Lin Yuan spent most of his time observing them. Regarding making a move to capture them, without thoroughly understanding the young couple's strengths, Lin Yuan absolutely would not make a move. Who knows if this young couple might have some powerful elder? Would killing them draw the attention of this elder? Lin Yuan's observation of the young couple was primarily to learn their language. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could generally learn anything after seeing and hearing it once. Learning a completely new language was no difficulty at all. He only needed to remember their pronunciation, and by recalling the tone and expressions used during those pronunciations, he could roughly figure it out. Tianqing World. Tianqing Great Alliance. Half a month later, Lin Yuan had eavesdropped a lot of useful information from the young couple. Firstly, this place was called Tianqing World, and currently, the strongest faction here was the Tianqing Great Alliance. The Tianqing Great Alliance was a colossal entity formed from countless forces within Tianqing World to counter the invasion of the foreign evil god. Indeed, the foreign evil god has already started their move. Lin Yuan pondered thoughtfully. Perhaps many years ago, the foreign evil god had started invading this world, but had never succeeded. That's why the ancestral demon tree had scattered its countless seeds into Tianqing World, attempting to invade through other means. That alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Great Alliance, his strength must have reached the 7th rank, and he's not just any 7th rank. Lin Yuan often heard the young man speak admiringly of the alliance hierarch. Over the years of the foreign evil god's invasion, if it weren't for the alliance hierarch repeatedly stopping the chaos, the situation would likely be much worse than it is now, allowing them to leisurely enter the Black Mist Mountain range for training? They're returning. Lin Yuan gazed towards the young couple. After hunting several second-layer demonic beasts, the couple had completed their training task and planned to return to their sect to claim their rewards. Lin Yuan didn't stop them because there was no need. They hadn't noticed him, and making a move would only reveal his presence. Continue the hunt. Once the young couple had completely left, Lin Yuan resumed his hunting of the demonic beasts. Now reaching 7 to 8 meters in size, ordinary first or second layer beasts couldn't escape once they came within 100 meters, all becoming Lin Yuan's nourishment. Several days later. It's time to leave. Now that the surrounding demonic beasts had almost been hunted to extinction, to maintain his current rate of cultivation, he must move to another region to repeat the hunt. Lin Yuan looked towards the depths of Yunwu mountain range, planning to move in that direction. The closer to the depths of Yunwu mountain range, the denser the spiritual energy of heaven and earth became, and similarly, the stronger the demonic beasts, which naturally helped Lin Yuan even more. However, before leaving, it might be worth dealing with that group underground. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted towards the ground. Yunwu mountain range, one of the top 10 mountain ranges in Tianqing world, was vast and extensive, inhabited by countless demonic and feral beasts. A large portion of these beasts lived on the surface. Yet still, there were traces of demonic beasts underground. The group Lin Yuan referred to as a group of Athrock mice. These rodent demonic beasts liked to live underground, leveraging their abilities to burrow countless tunnels, even building a rodent underground palace 100 meters below the surface. Essentially, a rodent dynasty. Lin Yuan had discovered the traces of these Athrock mice when he inadvertently entered a tunnel while exploring the underground with his roots, eventually finding their trails. Probably over 300 Athrock mice, the Mouse King has second-layer strength. Lin Yuan thought. The size of the Athrock mice was not smaller than that of a purple-eyed rabbit, close to half a meter, and the Athrock Mouse King was even 2 meters in size. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability, Creating and Teaching the Tao in Various Worlds. Chapter 250 years later. Please subscribe. _2. Like a reckless bull. Lin Yuan had waited until now to make a move because he hadn't been confident before. He was afraid that taking action would startle the Athrock mouse group and cause most of them to escape. Over 300 Athrock mice, so much flesh and soul, even without counting the Athrock Mouse King, could greatly enhance Lin Yuan's strength. Not to mention, the Athrock Mouse King built its nest here because of a strain of earth element elixir. Lin Yuan carefully sensed and discovered an extremely pure earth element spiritual power diffusing and spreading deep within 100 meters underground in the Rat Dynasty. Lin Yuan guessed that the reason the Athrock Mouse King could grow to a 2-meter size was closely related to that strain of earth element elixir.
Mean it.
All mine. Lin Yuan's eyes burned with fervor, and with a slight shift in his thoughts, hundreds of branches, as well as roots, began to approach the Rat Dynasty's location. Dozens of meters underground. Several tunnels ran in all directions, and gray Athrock mice 1/2 meter in size constantly moved back and forth along the tunnels, bringing all the food they could find back to the Rat King.
Suddenly,
at that moment, an Athrock mouse suddenly stopped. It gently sniffed the air with its nose, sensing something. The next moment, before this Athrock mouse could react, a black branch, as tough as refined iron, pierced through it. Squeak. The Athrock mouse let out a miserable squeak, and soon, its flesh and soul were completely devoured by the branch. Next, it was the doom of the Athrock mice. One after another, black branches continuously pierced through Athrock mice, devouring their essence and souls, transforming it into their intrinsic strength in a virtuous cycle. Awesome. On the surface, Lin Yuan felt extremely fulfilled, a massive amount of Athrock mice's essence and souls transforming into surging power, replenishing his own. If it were just a normal demon tree seed, it couldn't possibly devour so many Athrock mice at once. It would have exploded. But Lin Yuan was different. As a 7th rank evolver, he could rapidly absorb all the power under his control of the realm. For an evil god, there is some trick to it. As Lin Yuan devoured the Athrock mice, he thought to himself. The devouring ability he displayed at this moment stemmed from the innate instinct of the demon tree seed, which was the power of the ancestral demon tree. This ability had almost no side effects. You see, even in the main world's devour-type evolution path, consuming flesh and soul would impact the purity of one's own soul. But the devouring power of the demon tree was extremely dominant, be it flesh or soul. Both were nutrients for itself. Unfortunately, once it reaches the 7th and 8th layer, what matters is the comprehension of rules, and the accumulation of energy is actually not that important. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. The scarlet spirit liquid from the red Kuan lineage is the best example. The power of the demon tree seed has an almost cheat-like effect below the 7th rank, but becomes much weaker once reaching the 7th rank. We're getting close to that Rat King's underground palace. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly serious. 100 meters underground. A small palace spanned across. This palace, constructed entirely of dirt, though lacking in details, was considered a very fine structure for rats.
However,
Hiss. A black branch swept lightly like a black dragon, crushing 1/10 of the palace. Squeak, squeak. A 2-meter large Athrok Mouse King sprang out, looking at the collapsing palace with a glimmer of anger in its eyes. As a second-layer demonic beast, the Athrok Mouse King had developed some intelligence. Otherwise, it wouldn't have specifically built a palace to reside in. Seeing the palace destroyed, it naturally felt emotional turmoil. However, just as the Athrok Mouse King was observing the black branch resembling a black dragon and considering how to attack it,
boom, boom, boom.
Several more black branches swept over once again. Startled, the Athrok Mouse King quickly retreated. Squeak, squeak. The Athrok Mouse King hurriedly squealed a few times. It signaled other Athrok mice to come and protect it. However, no matter how the Athrok Mouse King called, only a few Athrok mice came, and they had just arrived when they were pierced by the black branches and rapidly turned to dust. Run. Although the Athrok Mouse King had second-layer strength, seeing the scene, where would it dare stay any longer? He instinctively wanted to run. In the depths of the palace, there was a tunnel personally dug by the Athrok Mouse King, connected to another place. As long as he emerged from that tunnel, the Athrok Mouse King had the possibility to escape to freedom.
Sure.
Before the Athrok Mouse King could run far, he was surrounded by black branches that rushed over. The Athrok Mouse King instinctively activated his life-saving measures. A dull yellow light rose from his body. But facing the continuous attack of hundreds of black branches, the dull yellow light on the Athrok Mouse King's body eventually shattered, and the 2-meter-sized Athrok Mouse King became nourishment for Lin Yuan's growth. This is comfortable. Lin Yuan exhaled softly, the branches swaying slightly. The second-layer Athrok Mouse King was definitely the most delicious life that Lin Yuan had devoured since his arrival. The ample blood energy and fearful soul brought pleasure to both Lin Yuan's body and mind. That's about it. Let's see what that earth element elixir is. Lin Yuan's controlled black branches cleared the underground battlefield and eventually reached the deepest part of the underground palace where the Athrok Mouse King resided. There, a palm-sized spiritual plant was growing. Under the leaves of the spiritual plant hang several spirit fruits the size of a little finger, with faint vibrations of earth element spiritual power emanating from them. Is this the earth element elixir that could catalyze a second-layer Rat King? Lin Yuan inspected it carefully. He did not recognize what this spiritual medicine was. But it didn't matter, as he was going to directly swallow it anyway. There was no difference. Lin Yuan was just curious about what the mystery was behind such a small spiritual medicine. Let's eat it. Without hesitation, Lin Yuan's black branches swept in, directly devouring all the spiritual power and essence of that spiritual medicine. Done. Everything is finished. We can leave now. After devouring the Athrok Mouse horde and that spiritual medicine, Lin Yuan was fully satisfied and began to control the roots, slowly moving towards the depths of the Yunwu mountain range. Although the demon tree could move on its own and was not confined to a specific location, its speed was not very fast. To avoid being noticed by other demonic beasts, Lin Yuan moved whenever there were no other demonic beasts passing nearby. Half a month later, Lin Yuan successfully entered deep into the Yunwu mountain range. This area was already the outer layer deep within the mountain range, with abundant spiritual power and the number of demonic beasts also increased. Flutter. As Lin Yuan's branches swayed, he devoured hundreds of Athrock mice, including the Athrock Mouse King and the Earth Element Elixir. Lin Yuan's body size soared to over 10 meters. The pitch-black main trunk and leaves emitted a chilling essence. As the offspring of the demon tree, Lin Yuan was naturally aligned with the evil faction. This won't do. I need to disguise my aura. Lin Yuan thought, if he continued to exude an evil aura, he could forget about hunting, which demonic beast would dare to approach. It shouldn't be difficult to develop a secret technique to conceal and disguise one's aura. Lin Yuan began to comprehend again, creating a breath-hiding secret technique based on the characteristics of the demon tree itself. Your perception defies the heavens. You feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Your perception defies the heavens. You feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Your perception defies the heavens. You feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Several days later, Lin Yuan successfully developed a breath-hiding secret technique. Upon activation, his evil aura began to converge. Instead, it emitted a harmless aura. Under these circumstances, some passing birds unwittingly stopped to rest on Lin Yuan's branches. Not bad, not bad. Lin Yuan had no interest in those frail birds. These birds hardly had any life force, and he was too lazy to even bother devouring them. That wolf demon over there? Lin Yuan's perception spread out and discovered several miles away there was a den of wolves. The leader of the wolves was 7 to 8 meters in size, resembling a small hill. Just like that, time rapidly passed by. In the blink of an eye, 50 years had passed since Lin Yuan arrived in this world. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 3: The King of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Please subscribe. Outside the Black Mist Mountain Range. As one of the top 10 mountain ranges in the Tianqing world, no one knows how many demonic beasts and ancient medicines exist within the Black Mist Mountain Range. And these, to many cultivators, are undoubtedly endless treasures. However, 283 years ago, the foreign evil god invaded, and countless evil god puppets entered the Tianqing world. The various forces of the Tianqing world, under the threat of life and death, immediately formed the Tianqing Alliance, setting aside all grievances, gathering all their strength to fend off the evil god puppets outside the world. As a result, most cultivators went to the battlefield to fight against the evil god puppets. The number of cultivators entering the Black Mist Mountain Range became much fewer, mostly consisting of the weaker younger generation. But even so, at the entrance of the Black Mist Mountain Range, many cultivators would still come and go every day. It was foreseeable how prosperous the Black Mist Mountain Range was before the invasion of the foreign evil god. Have you noticed, in the past few decades, the number of demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain Range has decreased a lot? Indeed, when I used to enter the Black Mist Mountain Range, I had to be extremely careful. At any moment, I could encounter a demonic beast, but now, it's rare to meet any formidable demonic beasts. What could be the reason? Could it be a problem with the kings deep within the Black Mist Mountain Range? At the entrance of the Black Mist Mountain Range, some cultivators were conversing in low voices. They often entered the range and could notice the changes happening within. The kings deep in the Black Mist Mountain Range. It's unlikely, right? Those kings, with noble bloodlines and long lifespans, would they encounter any problems? In the past, every few decades, those kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range would command countless demonic beasts to initiate beast tides, but since the invasion of the foreign evil god, the powerful demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range have become much more docile. It's not that those kings have problems, but the number of powerful demonic beasts has decreased. Could it be the doing of those kings? After all, the ones that can command many demonic beasts are only those kings. That makes sense. Many cultivators were discussing animatedly. The reduction in the number of powerful demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range had a certain impact on them, making it difficult to hunt valuable demonic beasts. But if it really was the doing of those kings, there was nothing they could do about it. Those kings are powerful and have profound foundations. Even during normal times, the cultivators on the human side couldn't contend with them, only able to set up contracts. Besides, most of the human forces are now focused on resisting the invasion of the foreign evil god. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range, a tree about 30 or 40 meters tall stood quietly there, with pitch-black branches and vines hanging down, and the canopy emitted specks of green light. This tree, though a bit strange and slightly different from normal ancient trees, was growing in the Black Mist Mountain range, where it was common to have trees of peculiar varieties. However, upon close observation, one would realize that within 10 to 100 miles around this ancient tree, not a single demonic beast could be found. Although its aura was peaceful and warm, it faintly had an unnerving scent. 50 years, huh? Lin Yuan sighed. Of course, in his current state, he couldn't truly sigh. Only the branches gently swayed a few times. These past 50 years had been a period of rapid growth for Lin Yuan. With countless demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range as nourishment, Lin Yuan lived comfortably, and after a tough initial period, he grew stronger every day. My current size now. Lin Yuan examined himself, his height now reaching 30 or 40 meters. Yet, this height was the result of Lin Yuan's utmost suppression. If he didn't hold back, he could easily exceed 100 meters and stand out alarmingly within the Black Mist Mountain range. It might even attract the attention of the Tianqing Alliance leader and several Vice Alliance hierarchs. If that happened, Lin Yuan's true identity would most likely be exposed. If the Tianqing Alliance leader learned that an offspring of the ancestral demon tree had infiltrated into the deep rear of their world, believe it or not, they would likely temporarily abandon their gains and losses on the battlefield, focusing all their strength first on dealing with Lin Yuan. One must secure one's own country before attacking others. The rationale was not hard to understand. Though the height of the demon tree was only 30 or 40 meters now, its roots, however, had already spread tens of thousands of miles underground. If Lin Yuan wished, with a single thought, he could attack from any position within tens of thousands of miles. The roots of plants and trees are always much larger than their trunks. Although the demon tree wasn't entirely a tree, it had the abilities that trees possess. Within a few thousand miles, Lin Yuan carefully sensed around. With the help of his roots, he could control everything within tens of thousands of miles. Even with the extended sensation of the roots, he could detect information tens or hundreds of thousands of miles away. The deepest kings. Lin Yuan's perception spread out, exploring towards the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. That place was a forbidden zone for all demonic beasts, where the kings of the Black Mist Mountain range resided. Within Lin Yuan's perception, at the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, stood a reddish ancient phoenix tree. At the top of the phoenix tree, there was a giant nest, and a golden-red feathered bird was sleeping. Vermilion bird? Or a phoenix? Lin Yuan did not make any rash moves. He observed secretly for a while, then slowly retreated. After 50 years of cultivation, in terms of combat power, I should be a match for a 6th-rank evolver in the main world. The cultivation system of a demon tree is completely different from that of the martial Tao. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 3: The King of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Please subscribe. _2. Lin Yuan fell into deep thought. Of course, Although he had not cultivated the martial path evolutionary path, this did not affect Lin Yuan's ability to use his against heaven's understanding to infer and perfect the 7th ranked chapter of the martial path evolutionary path. Moreover, some essences of the demon tree were highly referential to the martial path evolutionary path and could be perfectly integrated into it. Outer domain battlefield of evil gods. Lin Yuan's gaze drifted towards the outer domain. Under the instinctive perception from the demon tree, there was an abyss-like aura there, precisely the location of the ancestral demon tree. The ancestral demon tree wants to invade this world, but it's not going smoothly. Lin Yuan thought to himself. 50 years had passed, and he had not sensed the ancestral demon tree advancing even a bit. It was clearly blocked. For the invader, this was a disadvantage. The Tianqing world had the backing of an entire world that could continuously send cultivators to resist. And the ancestral demon tree? Even as a foreign evil god with a strong essence, it was, after all, just an individual. In terms of foundation, it simply couldn't compete with a complete world. For now, it has nothing to do with me. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. In this traversal, he had 600 years to stay in this world. So far, only 50 had passed, not even 1/10, and he still had plenty of time to cultivate. The deadlock between the Tianqing world and the ancestral demon tree was a good thing for Lin Yuan. If the latter were to come to this world before Lin Yuan had grown to surpass the ancestral demon tree, it would be bad. That's why over these 50 years, Lin Yuan had devoured countless demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range, but had deliberately avoided human cultivators. One reason was the fear of being discovered to be abnormal. The other was his reluctance to weaken the strength of human cultivators. As of now, Lin Yuan still needed countless cultivators from the Tianqing alliance to sacrifice their lives in resisting the invasion of the ancestral demon tree, buying him time to grow. However, recently I have awakened a power of the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan's mind stirred, and the branches of the demon tree swayed, as a gray and plain seed floated before him. Demon tree seed. Lying beyond the domain, the ancestral demon tree constantly scattered seeds that turned into evil god puppets, battling against the powerhouses of the Tianqing world. As the legitimate offspring of the ancestral demon tree, once Lin Yuan grew to a certain extent and escaped the world's suppression, he could naturally produce seeds. Lin Yuan gazed at the grayish seed before him, the seed of the demon. Up to now, Lin Yuan had perceived 3 functions of the demon seed. The first was to directly transform into a demon puppet. That was the method currently used by the ancestral demon tree, using its vast primordial qi to nurture the demon seeds, making them quickly grow into evil god puppets. The second was parasitism, where the demon seed could parasitize within a living being, thereby controlling it. The third was natural growth, by scattering seeds onto fertile soil, where the seeds would take root and sprout. Lin Yuan's predecessor, the demon tree, was bred using the third method by the ancestral demon tree. Each method had its advantages and disadvantages, but only the third method could truly be regarded as offspring of the ancestral demon tree, capable of inheriting some of the ancestral demon tree's innate abilities. The first function of the demon seed is of no use to me. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Using his own primordial qi to nurture the growth of the demon tree seed was not suitable for the current Lin Yuan. What kind of being was the ancestral demon tree? Dominating beyond the domain and amassing a robust accumulation, it dared to use its vast primordial qi to nurture demon seeds. But how many years had Lin Yuan accumulated? Besides, if he had sufficient primordial qi, Lin Yuan would directly enhance himself instead of cultivating something like puppets. And the third effect of the demon seed was even more unnecessary. Even the seeds of the ancestral demon tree, scattered to the Tianqing world, mostly died, not to mention the seeds of Lin Yuan, offspring of the ancestral demon tree. Parasitism. Lin Yuan pondered over the second function of the demon seed. It could parasitize within a certain living creature, controlling it. This ability required many prerequisite conditions, the most important being that the host had no ability to resist. Otherwise, the parasitism would fail. Lin Yuan's mind stirred. Thousands of miles away, A purple-eyed rabbit cautiously poked its head out, gazing at a spiritual herb not far away with a hint of longing in its eyes.
Whoosh.
The purple-eyed rabbit looked around, didn't spot any danger, and with a whoosh, it lunged towards the spiritual herb. However, just at that moment, a black tree trunk protruded from the ground, directly capturing the purple-eyed rabbit and pulling it back underground. It was all over in just a moment. Purple-eyed rabbit then appeared in front of Lin Yuan. Squeak, squeak. The purple-eyed rabbit emitted a trembling sound as it looked at the massive figure in front of it, continuously turning in circles where it stood. "I'll use you to test the parasitic effect," Lin Yuan said. Lin Yuan watched the purple-eyed rabbit as a dusty gray seed fell down and precisely landed on the rabbit.
Buzz.
The purple-eyed rabbit collapsed to the ground with a thud, and that dusty gray demon tree seed quickly permeated the purple-eyed rabbit's head. A moment later, the purple-eyed rabbit was thoroughly controlled. It stood up stiffly and emitted a deeply respectful spiritual wave of submission toward Lin Yuan. This feeling. Lin Yuan observed the purple-eyed rabbit, and under his control, it continuously performed various actions, whether rolling or running. "It's not bad." Lin Yuan nodded slightly. At this time, the purple-eyed rabbit was not dead. It was still alive, but it had been replaced by the demon tree seed. "It's just... this is too obvious." Lin Yuan looked at the purple-eyed rabbit. The rabbit, parasitized by the demon seed, had stiff limbs, a dull gaze, and even its movements gave off a sluggish illusion. It would be easy for others to notice something was amiss. No wonder the ancestral demon tree did not utilize the seed's parasitic ability. It is indeed somewhat limited, Lin Yuan thought to himself. The parasitic ability of the demon tree seed, although it does not require the expenditure of primordial qi to activate, has many limitations. The first of these is that the host must not resist. If they are unable to resist, why not kill them and consume them directly? Why waste energy on parasitism? Moreover, after parasitism, while certainly under control, the manifestation is extremely obvious. In the Tianqing world, it would be difficult for powerful beings not to notice. However, this parasitic ability, can I possibly improve and perfect it with against heaven's understanding? Lin Yuan mused and fell into brief thought. Right after his arrival in this world, Lin Yuan, with against heaven's understanding, devised a method suited for cultivating with the demon tree seed. Now, with this demon tree seed, Lin Yuan could certainly perform improvements. Of course, the demon tree seed is a natural ability of the demon tree. Improving and perfecting it would be difficult, but with against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could still give it a try. In the following period, Lin Yuan focused on 4 areas. 1 was to continue enhancing his own strength, consuming more demonic and fierce beasts, propelling his own growth. 2 was to perfect the martial path evolutionary path 7th rank chapter. 3 was to comprehend the remaining core space models. Though he lost the environment of frequent spatial fluctuations like those in the battlefields of different species, Lin Yuan's speed in comprehending core space models decreased. But Lin Yuan now had more time. With 600 years of residency and against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could raise his comprehension of space rules to an unimaginable level. As for 4, it was to attempt improving the demon tree seed. Even though for the ancestral demon tree, the demon tree seed was an extremely important method, Lin Yuan still planned to spend some energy and time on this aspect. He would be delighted with any gains. Even if there were none in the end, there would be no loss. Time again passed by. Suddenly, it was another period later. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's form rose another 10 meters. The demon tree was now nearly reaching a height. This clump of pitch-black flames is the core used by the ancestral demon tree to control its offspring, isn't it? Lin Yuan stared at the pitch-black flames, thinking to himself. The ancestral demon tree was able to contact him and send the origin power through this clump of pitch-black flames. And the demon tree that Lin Yuan currently occupied was controlled all over, except for this clump of pitch-black flames, which still remained in Lin Yuan's blind spot. Every time Lin Yuan attempted to refine this clump of pitch-black flames, he would vaguely perceive an immense risk from the unknown. Does the ancestral demon tree comply with my every demand, providing as much origin power as I want because of this? Lin Yuan thought silently to himself. The ancestral demon tree met his demands not only because the growth of Lin Yuan was indeed useful, capable of helping the ancestral demon tree cross the battlefield outside the world and descend directly into the interior of the Tianqing world. The most crucial matter was that the ancestral demon tree could master Lin Yuan's death with just a thought. And the means to do so was through this cluster of dark flames. Add to that the absolute loyalty of the demon tree's progeny towards the ancestral demon tree. Under all these factors, it was what led to such a supportive strength from the ancestral demon tree. In the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, everything it had bestowed upon Lin Yuan could be taken back with virtually no loss. Unable to refine, Lin Yuan carefully observed the dark flames. He discovered that he had no capability to refine them at all. The moment he slightly touched the dark flames, he would be detected by the ancestral demon tree. Then, it shall be sealed. Lin Yuan continued to observe the dark flames. The area where the dark flames were located was deep within Lin Yuan's roots. Their influence on Lin Yuan was nothing more than several types, namely a sudden explosion, completely destroying the main trunk of the roots. Therefore, sealing them was the best choice. As for the method of sealing, it required Lin Yuan to use his against heaven's understanding to create one based on his own detailed circumstances and the state of the dark flames.
Time passed.
In the blink of an eye, another 10 years had gone by. Sealing complete. Lin Yuan's mind converged in front of the dark flames in the root area. Threads of power, like a spider's web, formed countless layers, slowly enveloping the cluster of dark flames. Suddenly, all the forces were hidden deep in the space. After 10 years of contemplation, Lin Yuan finally managed to conceive a method that completely sealed the dark flames using his against heaven's understanding. This method consisted of 63 core space rules, and with just a thought from Lin Yuan, space could be isolated. No matter what changes occurred in the cluster of dark flames, it would be impossible to affect Lin Yuan's true body. Finally, it is done. Lin Yuan let out a slight sigh of relief. Once the sealing was successful, Lin Yuan could say he was officially free from the control of the ancestral demon tree. Of course, the ancestral demon tree was unaware of this. In the eyes of such a foreign evil god, its offspring were absolutely loyal to it. There was no possibility of any betrayal. Probably in its wildest dreams, the ancestral demon tree would never have imagined there to be someone like Lin Yuan. 10 years of cultivation. After performing the sealing skill, Lin Yuan's perception spread in all directions. These 10 years, creating the sealing skill, had only taken up a small portion of Lin Yuan's time. Besides, Lin Yuan had gained even more. The first was his strength. Lin Yuan now had stepped into the 7th rank. Based on Lin Yuan's previous estimates, breaking through to the 7th rank would require at least 50 to 100 years. But the ancestral demon tree was too generous, constantly feeding him origin source, which allowed Lin Yuan to cross this phase of cultivation in just 10 years. A 7th rank demon tree's roots would spread far and wide, nearly covering the entire Black Mist Mountain range, with millions of miles within Lin Yuan's control. Apart from the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range, the regions where the 7 kings resided, Lin Yuan's control over the Black Mist Mountain range was probably unprecedented. The entire Black Mist Mountain range, how many demonic beasts and ferocious beasts there were, even how many purple-eyed rabbits there were, all fell under Lin Yuan's observation. One could say that anything that happened within the Black Mist Mountain range could not be hidden from Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan now possessed a semblance of the splendor of the ancestral demon tree from beyond this world, which contested the Tianqing world with its own power. Space. Lin Yuan sensed the surroundings. Over the decades, Lin Yuan's contemplation of the core space models also made great strides. Space is everywhere with vast applicability. The sealing skill that Lin Yuan had conceived was also based on numerous core space models. Lin Yuan now had a complete understanding of 267 core space models, his comprehension of space even surpassing that of ordinary 8th layer evolvers. You should know a newly advanced 8th rank evolver typically only comprehends a few, at most a few dozen core space models. Lin Yuan's mastery of over 200 core space models could be estimated as equivalent to hundreds to thousands of years of arduous cultivation for an ordinary 8th rank evolver. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability: Creating and Teaching the Tao in Various Worlds. Chapter 6: Unifying the Black Mist Mountain Range, the True King Without a Crown. Subscribe, please. If I return now to the main world, the size of my inner world would likely exceed 100 miles, or even several hundred miles. Lin Yuan secretly thought. Normally, for someone newly advanced to the 8th rank, their inner world would reach a span of 100 miles. Along with continuous practice at the 8th rank, the inner world will slowly grow. The expansion primarily depends on the understanding of the space rules. It is also about comprehending more of the core space models, leading to a more stable spatial foundation in the inner world, which would facilitate easier expansion. If one lacks sufficient understanding of space and forcibly expands the inner world, it might cause its collapse. But with Lin Yuan's current understanding of the space rules, expanding his inner world to several hundred miles would be easy. An inner world of several hundred miles, even though Lin Yuan has only just entered the 7th rank, would allow him to contend with someone at the newly advanced 8th rank with the vast power of his world. 7th Stage Martial Tao. Lin Yuan's expression fell into brief contemplation. Over these years, he had devoted much of his time to refining and perfecting the 7th rank chapter of the Martial Path evolutionary path. After all, Lin Yuan was well aware that his foundation was still the martial arts evolution system, though the cultivation system of the demon tree was only temporary. Initial cultivation of entities like the ancestral demon tree and foreign evil god is swift, but it harbors many dangers. It is nowhere as steadily progressive and inherently righteous as the martial arts evolution system. Now I've basically completed the marquee stage of the 7th rank chapter. The next step is the king level. Lin Yuan secretly thought. The many evolution paths in the main world divide the 7th rank into 3 stages.
Marquee. King.
Lin Yuan applied the same 3 stages to his 7th stage Martial Tao chapter. Completing the marquee stage equates to finishing 1/3 of the 7th rank chapter. The only stages left are king and king. It's about time to make a move. Lin Yuan glanced towards the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Since the Phoenix King disappeared, the remaining 7 kings of the mountain range had gathered together. This act thwarted Lin Yuan's plan to defeat them one by one. For nearly a decade, Lin Yuan's roots permeated every corner of the Black Mist Mountain Range, except for its deepest part. He was concerned it might startle the snake.
But now,
with Lin Yuan's strength, those 7 kings could be suppressed with a counterattack. At the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain Range, 7 colossal beings stood there. Their terrifying presence pervaded. Ordinary demonic beasts, let alone approaching, would tremble in fear just by sensing a fraction of this atmosphere. These 7 colossal beings are the 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Together with the previous Phoenix King, they are known as the Black Mist 8 Kings, having been the absolute rulers of the mountain range for many long years. However, at this moment, the atmosphere among these 7 kings was heavy, their expressions and eyes filled with worry. Where could the Phoenix King have gone? It has been 10 years without a trace. The Divine Ape King spoke softly, his massive voice vibrating in all directions. Upon hearing this, the rest of the 6 kings exchanged glances. They too were curious about the whereabouts of the Phoenix King. 10 years ago, the Phoenix King suddenly disappeared, taking with it a phoenix tree and earth flame valley, resulting in ominous thoughts among them. That was why. For the past 10 years, The 7 kings have stayed together, never separating, all to guard against something. But this can't go on forever. It's been 10 years since the Phoenix King disappeared, and it likely met with misfortune. We can't just keep waiting. In a moment, I will go out and meet with the Tianqing Alliance leader to inquire if he is aware of this matter. The leading Colossus King finally spoke out. Among the 8 kings of the Black Mist, the Colossus King, with the blood of ancient divine elephants flowing within, is the leader. Right. Go and ask the Tianqing Alliance leader. Indeed, even if the leader doesn't know, he should investigate. I want to see who would dare to strike against the Black Mist mountain range. The other demon beast kings discussed amongst themselves. The Tianqing Alliance leader, being the strongest in the Tianqing world, is a major force against the foreign evil gods. Given the character of the Tianqing Alliance leader, he would not allow internal strife in the Tianqing world when there should be unity against external forces. However, before anything was confirmed, they dared not casually contact the Tianqing Alliance leader. If they just reported to the Tianqing Alliance and the Phoenix King returned soon after, it would be awkward. They might even be held accountable by the leader. But 10 years have passed with no news of the Phoenix King, so it was time to report to the Tianqing Alliance leader. Let's go. Let's go together. The 7 demon beast kings got up, ready to fly outside. Suddenly, the giant elephant king's expression subtly shifted. There's something outside. The giant elephant king's form froze, his gaze intensely scanning the surroundings. Something wrong. Hearing this, the other 6 kings immediately became alert. The next moment, a black vine descended from the sky. The divine ape king's face changed dramatically, his instincts urging him to dodge. Although unclear what the black vine was, the instinct of a demon beast king made the divine ape king want to keep away. However, at that moment, the divine ape king's movements seemed to slow down numerous times. More precisely, the space around the divine ape king appeared to stretch many times over, turning what should have been a steppable distance into one where hundreds of steps still spun in place.
Whoosh.
The black vine quickly engulfed the divine ape king and dragged him upwards. The giant elephant king and the other 6 demon beast kings could clearly see the divine ape king still desperately struggling while entwined by the black vine. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 6. Unifying the Black Mist Mountain Range. The True King Without a Crown. Subscribe please. _2. But it was all in vain, as he was rapidly dragged away without the capacity to resist. What is that? It was only at this moment that the giant elephant king and the other 5 demon beast kings noticed an imposing ancient tree standing not far away, the presence of which was previously unknown to them. The ancient tree, black in color, towered unimaginably high and was shrouded in an evil, chaotic aura. Just now, it was one of this tree's countless vines that had dragged away the divine ape king. This is bad. The giant elephant king and the other demon beast kings felt their scalps explode. They had no idea when such a monstrous tree had appeared next to their lairs. If the divine ape king, with his strength, couldn't withstand even one of its countless vines, how powerful was the entire tree? As for the evil, chaotic aura that the ancient god emitted, the minds of the giant elephant king and the other 5 demon beast kings were in complete disarray, with no time to consider it carefully. In the hearts of the 6 demon beast kings, there was only one thought. That was,
Run.
run as far as possible.
Boom.
The 6 terrifyingly powerful demon beast kings. Almost simultaneously, they dashed in 6 different directions. Even in such a state of utter panic, the demon beast kings instinctively chose different paths. This way, they could at least distract the attention of the terrifying ancient tree. Rustle. 6 black vines descended from the towering ancient tree. 5 of the demon beast kings struggled briefly against the entwining vines, but were quickly dragged away just like the divine ape king. Only the giant elephant king. Break. The massive body of the giant elephant king burst forth with earth-shaking power. As a descendant of the ancient gods, the giant elephant king inherited part of the formidable life force of the ancient gods. The ancient gods, it is said, did not originate from the Tianqing world, but came from beyond its realms. It was precisely because of the talents of the ancient gods that the giant elephant king was able to overpower the other 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range and secure the throne of the strongest demon beast king. In fact, not just in the Black Mist Mountain range. In the other 9 mountain ranges of the Tianqing world, and among the dozens of other demon beast kings, the power of the giant elephant king was also considered terrifying, ranking within the top 3, or even number 1. Rumble. Faced with the black vines that easily dragged away 6 demon beast kings, the full potential of the giant elephant king was forced out, his blood boiled, and a huge phantom of a sacred elephant appeared behind him.
Crack.
Under the furious outbreak of the giant elephant king, the black vines slowly shattered. Did he break free? The expression of the giant elephant king turned wildly ecstatic. From the moment the divine ape king was dragged away by the black vines to when the 6 demon beast kings fell into the same fate. To the giant elephant king, the black vines were like the grim reaper, exuding an immense oppressive force.
However, now,
with the giant elephant king unleashing his full potential and employing dozens of secret techniques to enhance his power, he had finally shattered the black vine, ensuring he wouldn't be dragged away like the other demon beast kings. My power, my lineage. The giant elephant king had barely felt joy when he suddenly turned his head and desperately discovered hundreds, thousands of black vines sweeping towards him. The face of the giant elephant king turned ashen. He had hardly broken 1 black vine at a tremendous cost, only for hundreds or thousands of them to appear as soon as he turned around.
how was he supposed to cope?
Overwhelmed by despair. This time the giant elephant king didn't put up any resistance. Instead, he nearly leapt into the midst of the black vines voluntarily, and then was dragged away. Yes, from today on, the Black Mist Mountain range is completely mine. Lin Yuan's figure rapidly shrank, influenced by space rules. Even the 7 enormous demon beast kings also began to shrink quickly, wrapped in black vines, hanging below the branches. Lin Yuan glanced at the 7 demon beast kings who had fallen into a deep sleep, with no intention to devour them. If it had been before the ancestral demon tree had made contact, facing such delicacies as the demon beast kings, Lin Yuan would have chosen to devour them immediately, just like he had swallowed the Phoenix King, to quickly enhance his own strength and foundation. But with the feeding from the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan lost interest in these ordinary flesh and souls. Even if these demon beast kings were strong and their vitality vigorous, could they really compare to the origin power of the ancestral demon tree? There was no comparison at all. The origin power of the ancestral demon tree was the core strength of a foreign evil god. Theoretically, as long as Lin Yuan devoured enough origin power of the ancestor, he could replace the ancestral demon tree and become a standalone foreign evil god. Let them stay for now, they'll be useful later, he said. Lin Yuan did not kill those 7 demon beast kings. In future schemes, he might find a use for them. For now, he just left them there. At this moment, with the 7 demon beast kings plunged into deep sleep, they were as good as dead, not affecting Lin Yuan's subsequent actions. Let's begin, he said. With a slight movement of Lin Yuan's mind, having dealt with the 7 demon beast kings, Lin Yuan, with no one left to fear, began to spread his roots toward the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. There's a large spirit vein here. No wonder those demon beast kings consider this area as their stronghold. Lin Yuan's roots penetrated deep into the ground, ensnaring that abundant spirit vein, and began slowly devouring the pure spiritual power within it. If the origin power fed by the ancestral demon tree was the main course, then this large spirit vein was like a soup before the meal, just something casual to change the taste. Several days later, Lin Yuan's roots had completely covered the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain Range. That is to say, the Black Mist Mountain Range, spanning millions of miles, was entirely under the control of Lin Yuan's roots. At this moment, Lin Yuan had truly become the uncrowned king of the Black Mist Mountain Range, far surpassing the uncrowned king title of the past demon beast kings. After all, the previous demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range only nominally ruled the area, but Lin Yuan substantively controlled it, with his roots spread throughout every corner of the mountain range. Ancestor. The environment of the Black Mist Mountain Range is terribly harsh. Just recently, a few powerful demonic beasts nearly attacked me. Lin Yuan's mind sank into the root area as he typically complained to the ancestral demon tree. The Black Mist Mountain Range. It's teeming with demonic beasts and is extremely dangerous. You really had it tough, comforted the ancestral demon tree. Having fought with countless cultivators from Tianqing World until now, it had come to understand much information about the world. Among them, the Black Mist Mountain Range was one of the top 10 demonic beast mountain ranges of the Tianqing World, undoubtedly dangerous. In the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, the mere survival of Lin Yuan in the Black Mist Mountain Range was already a miracle. Here, I'll give you some more origin power for self-protection, said the ancestral demon tree after some thought. Lin Yuan was its last hope for descending into the Tianqing World. How could it let him die at the hands of those beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range? Thank you, ancestor, Lin Yuan said gratefully. Indeed, in the view of Lin Yuan, the ancestral demon tree was somewhat in a dilemma. Over these 10 years, the ancestral demon tree had invested a vast amount of origin power into Lin Yuan. This origin power could only be recouped once the ancestral demon tree descended into the Tianqing World. But to descend into the Tianqing World, it needed to continue feeding Lin Yuan origin power, putting the ancestral demon tree in an awkward situation. If it had been before contacting Lin Yuan, the ancestral demon tree was not so set on acquiring the Tianqing World. Being able to descend was naturally good. If it was otherwise unable to descend and the situation became deadlocked, leaving would also not involve substantial loss. But now, if the ancestral demon tree chose to leave, the losses would be significant, as so much of its origin power was within Lin Yuan. If it gave up on the Tianqing World, it would likely not recover for thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of years. Losses are only temporary. The vision must be long-term. As long as I can descend into the Tianqing World, any great losses can be recouped, and devouring an entire world's origin would be greatly beneficial to me. With this mindset, the ancestral demon tree again allocated some of its origin, sending it to Lin Yuan. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 7. Improving demon parasitism. Happy New Year's Eve. Thank you, ancestor. Having obtained another large mass of origin source, Lin Yuan immediately expressed his gratitude. Lin Yuan's gratitude was indeed heartfelt. In the past 5 travels, he had relied mostly on himself, even during the 5th travel, where he became a background celestial of the 3rd generation. Most of the resources Lin Yuan needed for his cultivation were also largely dependent on his yin spirit and yang spirit adventuring outside. However, now, as long as Lin Yuan voiced his hardships, the ancestral demon tree, despite the consumption, would actively send over the origin source. Of course, Lin Yuan was aware. The ancestral demon tree did this completely using him. Should he successfully arrive in the Tianqing World, he guessed he would be the first to die. Over the years, the origin source the ancestral demon tree had invested in him, naturally, had to be recouped. Just as the ancestral demon tree was thinking of devouring Lin Yuan was similarly contemplating devouring the ancestral demon tree. At present, The existence of the ancestral demon tree brought far more benefits than drawbacks to Lin Yuan, equivalent to an inexhaustible treasury of cultivation. Moreover, Lin Yuan had already resolved the control the ancestral demon tree had over its offspring demon trees, using the sealing skill, leading to no fundamental risks at all. Cultivate well. Grow to the 5th stage as soon as possible. The spiritual fluctuations emitted by the ancestral demon tree contained an encouraging tone, as if a gentle elder was earnestly instructing. The growth of the demon tree, unlike normal cultivators, is in stages. Specifically, the 1st stage, 2nd stage, 3rd stage. The ancestral demon tree itself was in the 8th stage, being a powerful evil god from beyond territories. The offspring demon tree is an extension of the ancestral demon tree, with an inexplicable connection between them. Once the offspring demon tree grows to the 5th stage, its life essence would be sufficient to establish a spatial passage with the ancestral demon tree. At that point, the ancestral demon tree could enter the Tianqing world through another method. This was also the final scheme of the ancestral demon tree, as forcefully entering the Tianqing world under the current circumstances was unrealistic. Ancestor, rest assured, I will definitely strive to grow. Your glory will soon envelop this world, and then all beings will submit at the feet of the ancestor. Lin Yuan was also painting a picture for the ancestral demon tree. He had no choice. If the ancestral demon tree abandoned the Tianqing world and fled now, Lin Yuan could only watch helplessly. So, he could only keep the ancestral demon tree hopeful about the immediate prospect, along with the earlier investments creating a sunk cost. This could securely bind the ancestral demon tree outside the world. Naturally, as long as we can occupy this world, I might as well grant you freedom and let you become a new evil god, the ancestral demon tree said seriously. In fact, the ancestral demon tree never intended to let Lin Yuan live. Are you kidding? After consuming so much of my origin source, you still want to live? But some things can't be said so directly, even when facing its offspring, for which a single thought could decide life or death. It also needs to pay attention to some formalities.
And so,
the two demon trees with different intentions severed their connection. In the depths of the Black Mist Mountain Range, Lin Yuan pondered the information recently revealed by the ancestral demon tree. The 5th stage. Lin Yuan thought to himself, the growth of a demon tree and cultivating are different matters. It relates to strength but is not entirely about strength. For example, right now, Lin Yuan possessed the power of the 7th rank, but in the growth stages of a demon tree, he was still at the 6th stage. With the world barrier in place, and with my own aura concealed, the ancestral demon tree cannot detect which exact stage I've grown into, Lin Yuan secretly thought. The Tianqing world was very cautious about guarding against the ancestral demon tree, decades ago, to pry open a crack in the barrier of the Tianqing world to drop demon seeds. The ancestral demon tree paid a tremendous price. And since then, the defense measures of the Tianqing world against the ancestral demon tree had gone up a notch. So, the ancestral demon tree's perception of Lin Yuan was actually quite limited, plus the many concealment techniques Lin Yuan figured out himself were virtually foolproof. On the battlefield outside the world, the Tianqing alliance has been winning recently. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted, looking towards a direction where countless Tianqing alliance experts were battling with evil god puppets. It wasn't surprising to Lin Yuan that the Tianqing alliance was gaining an upper hand on the battlefield. In the past decade, to fund Lin Yuan, the ancestral demon tree had sent over so much of its own origin power. As a result, reducing its strength and the number of evil god puppets it could produce. Strictly speaking, although Lin Yuan was an offspring of the ancestral demon tree, he contributed to the Tianqing world, diminishing the power of the ancestral demon tree. With the Tianqing alliance gaining the upper hand on the battlefield outside the world, the credit largely belonged to Lin Yuan. Outside the Tianqing world, the colossal ancestral demon tree stood towering in the void, its numerous vines swaying, spreading a terrifying demon realm in all directions. And opposite the ancestral demon tree stood 13 figures side by side. It was the leader of the Tianqing Alliance and the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. The leader of the Tianqing Alliance, being the strongest in the Tianqing world, wielded the sword of the world, nearly able to unleash the combat power of the 8th rank. As for the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, they were all of the 7th rank, not to be underestimated.
Evil God, D.
The leader of the Tianqing Alliance grasped the stone sword and slashed at the ancestral demon tree. With a rip, a vast force of space was torn apart, forming spatial turbulence, carrying with it the might of the void. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 7. Improving Demon Parasitism. Happy New Year's Eve. _2. The ancestral demon tree, still massive in form, swayed its countless black tendrils just enough to block the sword's strike. If it weren't for this world, you ants, where would you get the audacity to stand before me? The ancestral demon tree emitted a vast spiritual fluctuation. What it feared most was the stone longsword in the hands of the Tianqing Alliance leader. That was the world sword, nurtured by the Tianqing world over countless millennia, which, under normal circumstances, should remain dormant deep within the world, turning with the world's rotations. Yet, this time, the invasion of the ancestral demon tree made the Tianqing world extremely vigilant, prompting it to unhesitatingly release the stone longsword to join forces with Tianqing's strongest fighters to resist the invasion by the foreign evil god. After a bitter battle, the ancestral demon tree retreated on its own accord. Regarding this, the Tianqing Alliance leader and the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs could only relent. Near the Tianqing world, they could contend with the ancestral demon tree, but stepping away from the Tianqing world would be suicidal. The stone longsword in the hands of the Tianqing Alliance leader grew more potent the closer it was to the Tianqing world. By the same principle, the farther away one was from the Tianqing world, the less potent it became, eventually no different from an ordinary longsword. Alliance leader, have you noticed the foreign evil god seems much weaker this time? A Vice Alliance hierarch pondered for a moment before speaking up. Indeed. The Tianqing Alliance leader nodded. Since the invasion of the ancestral demon tree began, they had fought it every 4 or 5 decades. Protected by the stone longsword, they could well manage a fight-to-fight basis against the ancestral demon tree. But this time, the ancestral demon tree didn't engage them in battle. And from the few skirmishes they had, they faintly perceived the ancestral demon tree's weakness. What exactly is going on? Is the evil god doing this deliberately, to lure us? The Tianqing Alliance leader was somewhat perplexed. The ancestral demon tree's diminished strength was completely baffling since they had never managed to strike at its core. How could its strength decrease so inexplicably? Therefore, the Tianqing Alliance leader's first reaction was to suspect whether the ancestral demon tree was intentionally showing weakness to lure them into a trap. In the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan felt the details of the surroundings for a while. He then continued with his contemplation. Your against heaven's understanding is discerning the demonic seeds, enhancing their parasitic essence. Your against heaven's understanding is discerning the demonic seeds, enhancing their parasitic essence. Your against heaven's understanding is discerning the demonic seeds, enhancing their parasitic essence. In front of Lin Yuan, several gray, fuzzy seeds floated. As a talented method of demon trees, the demonic seeds had many effects, among them the parasitic ability was particularly valued by Lin Yuan. However, the original parasitic ability of the demonic seeds was too crude, making the parasitized beings look like zombies, too evident in their behavior. Therefore, for the past several decades, Lin Yuan dedicated some time each day to refine the flaws of the demonic seeds. I've made preliminary improvements. Let's see how effective it is. Lin Yuan glanced at a nearby demon beast king entangled by black tendrils. Lin Yuan kept these demon beast kings alive because they were useful, and it was the perfect time to test the parasitic ability of the demonic seeds. As for why not to first parasitize lower-ranking demonic beasts, parasitizing lower-ranking demonic beasts would merely waste Lin Yuan's seeds. The effectiveness of the demonic parasitic ability entirely depends on the strength of the host. If the host possesses 5th rank strength after the parasitism, it could still largely retain 5th rank strength. If the host has only 1st rank strength after parasitism, it remains at the 1st rank, and what use is that to Lin Yuan? In Lin Yuan's eyes, within the whole Black Mist Mountain range, only the few 6th rank demon beast kings barely held value for parasitism. Rustle. A black tendril loosened. A demon beast king fell. During its fall, the beast's body rapidly enlarged, and by the time it hit the ground, it had become a massive creature. Where is this? This demon beast king was the divine ape king. Having been unconscious for so long, it was now awake and confused for a moment.
No, wrong.
Only a few breaths had passed when the divine ape king realized what was happening, and his expression immediately tensed. Turning his head, he found himself beneath that terrifying ancient tree, and a chill ran through his heart. The divine ape king instinctively thought to flee, but found that his body was pervaded by an evil power, under which even the slightest movement was extremely difficult, let alone running. Just as the divine ape king was contemplating whether to say a few words, a gray, dusty seed fell from a branch, quickly heading toward him. What is that? Although the divine ape king was unable to move, he instinctively sensed danger.
Buzz.
The gray, dusty seed landed straight on the forehead of the divine ape king, and then roots quickly sprouted from the surface of the seed, embedding themselves in his forehead.
Ah!
The divine ape king let out a painful roar. At that moment, his head felt as though it had exploded, and his consciousness even began to blur. This seed, does it want to replace me? Suddenly, a great terror surged in the heart of the divine ape king. The gray, dusty seed, now rooting in his brain, was slowly expelling his original consciousness and attempting to usurp his place.
No.
I don't want this. The divine ape king struggled fiercely. Compared with being replaced, complete death felt like a release. The divine ape king resisted fiercely, gathering the remaining force in his consciousness to charge at the demonic parasite. However, regrettably, at that moment, the entire body of the divine ape king was suppressed by Lin Yuan's power, leaving behind just a trace of the power of his consciousness. How could it possibly resist the demonic parasite?
Just half a day had passed,
and the consciousness of the divine ape king completely collapsed. The demonic parasite had successfully rooted itself.
Outside,
Lin Yuan was observing the changes in the divine ape king. Master. Just then, the divine ape king slowly rose from the ground and bowed slightly towards Lin Yuan. The parasitic process went smoothly. Lin Yuan could clearly sense the presence of the demonic parasite deep in the brain of the divine ape king. Master, I now possess all the memories of the divine ape king, along with every ability and skill. The divine ape king began to report. Half an hour later, Lin Yuan sent the divine ape king away. The current divine ape king had been completely replaced by the demonic parasite, leaving no concern regarding fidelity. Not bad. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. From observing the behavior and reactions of the replaced divine ape king, with just a bit more attention, there was essentially no difference from the original divine ape king. At the very least, it was far better than initially, when victims of demonic parasite infestation appeared vacant and stiff. The current demonic parasite not only perfectly integrated into the host's body, but also acquired all of their memories. It could nearly reach the level of authentic deception. However, there are still some flaws. Continue to refine. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, deciding to spend the following time perfecting it with Against Heaven's understanding. The reason Lin Yuan devoted such effort to parasitism was to prepare for the proliferation of martial Tao later on. Unfortunately, the appearance of the demon tree wasn't great, so Lin Yuan needed to find some spokespersons. And these spokespersons had to be absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan, perfectly suiting the parasitic ability of the demonic parasite. Martial Tao. Lin Yuan's thoughts surged, limited here due to the very nature of the demon tree. He hadn't embarked on the martial Tao. But everything he was doing was paving the way for martial Tao, and spreading the martial path evolutionary path was the main plan for the next few hundred years. Continue to cultivate. Lin Yuan immersed his mind in cultivation, and the inner qi within his body grew increasingly terrifying, like an unfathomably vast ocean. No one knew, including the invincible Tianqing Alliance leader, ancestral demon tree. In the absolutely safe rear of Tianqing world, changes were happening that could overturn the current situation. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed the story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 8. Draining the Ancestral Demon Tree. Happy New Year's Eve. Name: Demon Tree Lin Yuan. Identity: Holder of the Myriad Realms Gate. Bound Talent: Heaven-defying comprehension. Divine Power: Blood Resurrection. Current Status: Consciousness Descent. Remaining Residency Time: 500 years. Another 30 years have passed. In the depths of the Black Mist Mountain Range, even with my against heaven's understanding, to fully comprehend such a talent would require a great deal of time. Lin Yuan contemplated for a while and found his progress somewhat slow, but he wasn't disappointed. How long had it been since he started? I wonder what rating the 7th ranked chapter of the Martial Arts Evolution System will get from the Goddess of Wisdom. Lin Yuan was somewhat expectant. Lin Yuan's refinement of the 7th ranked chapter had already reached the Marquis stage. There were still 500 years left in this world he had traveled to before returning to the main world. Before returning to the main world, there should be no problem in completely developing the 7th ranked chapter. The 7th ranked chapter of the Martial Arts Evolution System contained many of Lin Yuan's painstaking efforts, starting with the creation of the inner world. Although Lin Yuan would not annotate in the 7th ranked chapter of Martial Arts Evolution System the possibility of opening an inner world during this phase. With the computational power of the Goddess of Wisdom and the other two goddesses, they should be able to deduce it. Indeed, like Lin Yuan, opening an inner world at the 7th rank would be subject to many restrictions, yet the multitude of restrictions couldn't obscure the precious possibility. For an evolver, being able to open an inner world at the 7th rank is undeniably a groundbreaking benefit. There's no need to mention combat power. Even if the inner world opened is only a few miles wide, one could almost certainly sweep other 7th rank evolvers. And observing the natural operation of the inner world greatly assists evolvers as well. Besides the inner world, Lin Yuan has now incorporated the abilities of many evil gods into the 7th ranked chapter, making 7th-stage martial Tao evolvers equipped to face various difficulties. From the inner to the outer areas of the Black Mist Mountain Range, the Divine Ape King, the Giant Elephant King, and the King of Azure Birds were patrolling nearby. The Master is too kind to actually tell us not to lay hands on those ant-like humans. The Divine Ape King, Giant Elephant King, and King of Azure Birds had long been parasitized by seeds of the demon kind, absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan, with no improper thoughts or ideas. Indeed, with the Master's strength, he could easily take over half of the Tianqing world, not to mention unifying it. Yet he stays in the Black Mist Mountain Range. The Divine Ape King sighed. The Giant Elephant King and King of Azure Birds nodded in agreement. As hosts to the demon seeds, even though they acted exactly like the original demon beast kings, they had a certain innate inclination toward aggression and slaughter. This instinct came from the ancestral demon tree, which as a foreign evil god, delighted most in slaughter and invasion. All right, don't talk about this kind of thing anymore. If the Master hears it, punishment is unavoidable. After some thought, the Giant Elephant King warned. Although they were some distance from Lin Yuan at the moment, In the eyes of the few demon beast kings, the master was invincible. If the master wanted to know, there was nothing in the entire Black Mist Mountain range that could be hidden from him. 8th Layer. While cultivating enlightenment, Lin Yuan also pondered the path to the 8th layer. For an evolver like Lin Yuan, who had long since created his own inner world, the greatest challenge in advancing to the 8th layer was the heart demon tribulation. The heart demon tribulation was unrelated to the flesh. It targeted the spirit will. Therefore, during the heart demon tribulation, external forces were essentially useless. To successfully overcome it, one could only rely on oneself, on an indestructible spirit will. However, the concept of spirit will was very nebulous. The strength of one's spirit will was not necessarily linked to one's power. Of course, the stronger the evolver, the less likely their spirit will was to be weak. But there had been natives on a barbaric wilderness planet within the main world's human civilization who possessed frighteningly high spirit will. According to the teacher's words, the so-called heart demon is the condensed essence of the endless resentment and other negative energies of a world. It's related to the fundamental laws of the world and only appears when an evolver reaches a certain layer. Lin Yuan silently thought, recalling the details that the Chikuan Star Lord had discussed regarding heart demons. Normally, a heart demon is a phantom entity even more ethereal than the soul or primordial spirit, so not even soul defense treasures can counter the heart demon. When a 7th rank peak evolver attempts to break through to the 8th layer, the heart demon tribulation descends, leaving no possibility for turning back because the heart demon cannot be blocked, nor can you flee from it. As long as you are within the world, there is nowhere to hide. However, I have the door to the Myriad Realms. Can I first traverse worlds, attempt to break through to the 8th layer, and face the heart demon tribulation? If I sense something amiss and find that I can't withstand the heart demon tribulation, then I'll run, returning to the main world. Heart demons couldn't possibly have the ability to travel through the Myriad Realms, could they? To follow me back to the main world. Lin Yuan considered a subtle strategy, which was to utilize his own advantage and attempt to face the heart demon tribulation in different worlds. Outside the world. The endless demonic power of the ancestral demon tree formed the demon world, which was suddenly torn open by a rift.
Whoosh.
A figure burst forth from the crack, escaping while letting out bursts of wild laughter. Ha 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 ha, foreign evil god, with the world sword protecting me, you cannot possibly kill me. The Tianqing Alliance leader wielded the world sword and moved away from the ancestral demon tree. Damn it! The ancestral demon tree could only watch helplessly as the Tianqing Alliance leader escaped. Originally, it had been suffering an origin source deficit, and now it had exerted itself using the extremely taxing demon world technique, coupled with the numerous wounds inflicted by the Tianqing Alliance leader's sword within the world. The ancestral demon tree, now incredibly weak, was utterly incapable of pursuing to kill the Tianqing Alliance leader. Or rather, even if the ancestral demon tree had the strength to pursue, it would not, because it fundamentally couldn't kill the Tianqing Alliance leader.
Whoosh.
The Tianqing Alliance leader transformed into a ray of light and returned to the side of the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. At the same time, the ancestral demon tree slowly receded and vanished from everyone's sight.
Alliance leader.
Alliance leader, are you alright? That evil god didn't hurt you, did it? The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs immediately asked with concern. At this moment, the Tianqing Alliance leader's aura was somewhat weakened, but his eyes shone with unprecedented brightness. This time, he risked his life and fought alone against the ancestral demon tree. During their full-powered clash, he finally comprehended the true extent of the ancestral demon tree's weakness. Weakened. That foreign evil god is currently in a weakened state. The Tianqing Alliance leader's heart raced. The weakness he perceived was not due to the use of a trump card, but rather, it predated that. It was already very weak. The opportunity for my Tianqing world is coming. The Tianqing Alliance leader looked towards the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, his spirit agitated and filled with confidence. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 10. Command the demon beast kings of the 10 great mountains with my decree. Happy New Year. Decades ago, the Tianqing Alliance leader had already faintly perceived the weakness of the ancestral demon tree. But at that time, he wasn't certain and couldn't confirm if the so-called weakness was intentionally revealed by the ancestral demon tree. It might have been a ploy to lure him into a trap. Wielding the world sword, the Tianqing Alliance leader was nearly invincible. However, the precondition was that he could not stray too far from Tianqing world, as beyond a certain range, the power of the world sword would be diminished. If the ancestral demon tree had such intentions, the Tianqing Alliance leader naturally needed to be vigilant. It was just now, in the midst of battle with the ancestral demon tree within the demon world, and with the help of the world sword senses, the Tianqing Alliance leader truly felt the ancestral demon tree's weakness. In the midst of a fierce battle, and with the world sword's perception, the Tianqing Alliance leader confirmed his judgment. My fellow cultivators, our chance in Tianqing world has come. The Tianqing Alliance leader said with a relieved breath, looking towards the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs with a serious expression. Opportunity. What opportunity? Alliance leader, do you know something? The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs were originally somewhat anxious, but upon seeing the Alliance leader's expression and tone of voice, they immediately became curious. The ancestral demon tree. The Tianqing Alliance leader immediately shared his judgment. For over 300 years, the foreign evil god used its mighty power to forcibly open a battlefield outside our Tianqing world, dragging us into an endless war mire. Every moment, the strong of our Tianqing world die, but with the evil god lying in wait, we have had no opportunity to destroy that battlefield. The Tianqing Alliance leader spoke in a somber tone, as did the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. Over 300 years of war had taken their friends, relatives, offspring, many of whom had been lost to the evil god puppets on the battlefield. And as long as that battlefield existed, the war could not be stopped. They indeed wanted to destroy the battlefield, so the foreign evil god would lose the basis to initiate it, but the ancestral demon tree was too powerful. Even if the Tianqing Alliance leader joined forces with the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, they could only manage to hold their own against the ancestral demon tree at best.
But now,
the ancestral demon tree was inexplicably weak, and the Tianqing Alliance leader even had the confidence to contend with the adversary by himself. As such, there was the possibility to destroy the battlefield and end the war. As for the ancestral demon tree, the Tianqing Alliance leader had no intention to kill it. That was not realistic, but simply planned to drive it away. But now, the opportunity has come, an opportunity to completely end the war has come. The Tianqing Alliance leader stated emphatically, looking at the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, pausing after each word. End the war? The hearts of the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs were ablaze. They had dreamed of ending the war, but after 300 years, hope always seemed out of sight. Having heard the Alliance leader's words today, their hearts were beyond stirred. Going forward, I will use all our remaining resources to launch a counterattack, the Tianqing Alliance leader said. If that evil god dares to intervene, leave it to me. All you need to do is secure the entire battlefield and then destroy it. Yes, the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs replied without hesitation. The evil god battlefield was situated outside the world, and that was likely the evil god's lair and stronghold. If that evil god battlefield were destroyed, the ancestral demon tree would only be able to attack Tianqing world relying on its own strength, which would be virtually impossible. And with the ancestral demon tree's current strength, under the targeted defense of the powerful in Tianqing world, it would not be able to open up a second battlefield. In theory, as long as the evil god battlefield was destroyed, the ancestral demon tree would no longer have the capability to come into Tianqing world. Issue my decree. Order the 10 mountain range demon beast kings to the battlefield, ready for a counterattack. The Tianqing Alliance leader instructed. When the ancestral demon tree invaded, the whole Tianqing world mobilized to resist. But actually, before the battle began, the Tianqing Alliance leader, among others, made the worst assumption. That was the inability to resist the ancestral demon tree's invasion, the collapse of the frontal battlefield. The war situation would spread within the world. For this reason, the Tianqing Alliance leader, despite facing the most adverse warfield conditions, never summoned the 10 mountain range demon beast kings. The 10 mountain range demon beast kings were Tianqing world's last resort to prevent a war collapse and invasion by evil god puppets. In that eventuality, the 10 mountain range demon beast kings were to take action, replacing the defeated cultivator army to temporarily resist the evil god puppets' invasion. This was something the Tianqing Alliance leader and the 10 mountain range demon beast kings had agreed upon many years ago when forming their covenant. In a crucial moment, the 10 mountain range demon beast kings must heed the Tianqing Alliance leader's decree. Of course, the situation on the battlefield is ever-changing. The 10 mountain range demon beast kings were originally the Tianqing Alliance leader's final force for resistance. But now, the Tianqing Alliance leader wished to gather all forces for a counterattack, which naturally meant the plans had to change a bit. The demon beast kings, after all, represented a significant force that could serve as the spearhead for a counterattack. If the counterattack went smoothly and the evil god was repelled, everything would be worth it. Yes. 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 The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs replied spiritedly, turning to depart and convey the Tianqing Alliance leader's orders. Besides the demon beast kings, Tianqing world also harbored many hidden forces, all of which required the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs to authorize and command. All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 10. Command the 10 Great Mountain Ranges Demon Beast Kings with my law decree. Happy New Year, _2. The Tianqing Alliance leader saw off the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. Next, in order to fully mobilize all the forces of the Tianqing world, the Vice Alliance hierarchs, protectors, elders, and other senior members of the Alliance would travel within the Tianqing world. He, however, needed to continue presiding over the battlefield to prevent the final counterattack of the ancestral demon tree. Everything is almost over. The Tianqing Alliance leader mused to himself with a deep and thoughtful gaze. Outside the Black Mist Mountain Range, 2 streaks of light descended. This is the Black Mist Mountain Range. I remember. The Black Mist Mountain Range has 8 demon beast kings. The strongest is the giant elephant king, possessing the bloodline of an ancient divine elephant. The 2 streaks of light transformed into 2 figures. On the left was a lean old man named Chu Zhuang, an elder of the Tianqing Alliance. The Tianqing Alliance had 156 elders, each wielding 6th rank strength, belonging to the Alliance's upper echelon of power. The one on the right was a young man named Liao An, also an elder of the Tianqing Alliance. Unlike the elder, Chu Zhuang, Liao An was quite young, just over 300 years old, had not even been born when the Tianqing world first encountered the invasion of the ancestral demon tree. Thus, Liao An had never been to the Black Mist Mountain Range. He had spent most of his time on the evil god battlefield, fighting against countless violent and cruel evil god puppets. Let's go. We should head inside. The lean old man, Chu Zhuang, then briefed Liao An on some information about the Black Mist Mountain Range and moved to enter it. The purpose of their visit was clear. It was to convey the decree of the Tianqing Alliance leader, commanding the 8 demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range to go to the evil god battlefield, preparing for the upcoming counterattack. The Alliance leader aligned the heavens and the earth, and against the foreign evil gods, he even holds a dominating advantage, and now he's preparing to counterattack. All the way, the lean elder, Chu Zhuang, couldn't help but express his emotion. He was indeed shocked when he first heard the Alliance leader's command to gather all forces of the Tianqing world for a counterattack. Indeed. Liao nodded. I hope that after repelling the evil god, I can have a home. Liao couldn't help but say, that's easy. With your strength and status, once the evil god is repelled, you'll be a hero of heaven and earth, and countless beautiful women will throw themselves at you. The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, laughed heartily. As they walked, the two chatted.
Suddenly,
Liao stopped. He looked carefully around. What's wrong? The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, also stopped, looking at Liao and with a puzzled expression. It's nothing. I just feel, isn't it too quiet? Liao furrowed his brows slightly. Although I've never been to the Black Mist Mountain Range, I've heard that this place is teeming with ferocious demonic beasts. It shouldn't be this quiet. To become an elder of the Tianqing Alliance, at just over 300 years old. Besides, because of the increased opportunities to demonstrate valor due to the ancestral demon tree's invasion, Liao also possessed a kind of intuition and instinct that was unlike ordinary people's. He often sensed danger before it arrived. It is indeed a bit quiet. The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, nodded slightly. But it should be nothing to worry about, right? Maybe the few demon beast kings deep in the mountain range have commanded the ferocious beasts to leave this area? The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, didn't think much of it. Even though the Black Mist Mountain Range was the territory of ferocious demonic beasts under the invasion of the foreign evil god, humans and demonic beasts had long since come to a mutual understanding. Hopefully. Liao thought for a moment, and also felt he might be overthinking it. This was a major rear area in the Tianqing world. It wasn't absolutely safe, but wasn't far from it. It was clearly inappropriate to maintain the same level of alertness here as on the battlefield against the evil gods. Let's go. We should be close. The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, quickened his flying speed. Liao followed closely behind, heading deeper into the Black Mist Mountain Range.
boom, boom, boom. Just then,
A gigantic creature, nearly 100 feet tall, blocked their way. This massive creature was none other than the Divine Ape King, acting on Lin Yuan's orders to patrol the Black Mist Mountain Range. It is one of the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range, known as the Divine Ape King. The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, upon seeing the Divine Ape King, was not startled but delighted, and turned to introduce it to Liao. Divine Ape King? Liao sized him up and down, nodding slightly. Just from the aura alone, the Divine Ape King surpassed the average newly advanced 6th rank cultivators. With his colossal physique coupled with the inherent talents of demonic beasts, even a 6th rank peak cultivator would not dare to underestimate him. Divine Ape King, we are here by the mandate of the Alliance Hierarch to grant amnesty to you, the Demon Beast Kings, to go to the evil god battlefield. The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang finished introducing Liao and didn't beat around the bush, but directly transmitted his message to the Divine Ape King. To the evil god battlefield? The Divine Ape King naturally wouldn't agree. Currently, he only followed Lin Yuan's commands, and as for whatever Tianqing Alliance leader, it naturally didn't catch his attention. Not going. The Divine Ape King was resolute. Not going. The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang was startled, seemed to think of something, and then slapped his forehead. Almost forgot. This is the mandate of the Alliance Hierarch. You should go now. The gaunt elder pulled out a token marked with the characters Tianqing. The token, only the size of a palm, emitted strange fluctuations that couldn't be duplicated or replaced. The mandate of the Alliance Hierarch? The Divine Ape King observed it closely for a few moments. Although it was parasitized by the demon seed, it retained memories from before and knew what the mandate of the Alliance Hierarch truly implied. It was the highest power within the Tianqing world, where every life form, be it human or demonic beast, must heed the command. However, this did not include the Divine Ape King. The Divine Ape King only recognized orders from Lin Yuan. "Hold on, I will contact the other kings." The Divine Ape King closed his eyes, secretly reaching out to Lin Yuan. In the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain Range, Lin Yuan was still immersed in enlightenment. Since the ancestral demon tree had lifted many restrictions on him, a variety of the ancestral demon tree's innate abilities awakened within Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan barely rested, constantly analyzing these with his against heaven's understanding, extracting their essence and discarding their dregs, integrating them into his martial path evolutionary path. Didn't expect that when the ancestral demon tree lifted the restrictions, it even greatly enhanced the abilities of the demon tree seeds. Lin Yuan slightly lamented. The demon tree seeds were abilities naturally mastered by a progeny demon tree. They didn't require the ancestral demon tree's explicit instruction to be unleashed and would naturally possess them upon reaching a certain stage. Originally, Lin Yuan thought the demon tree seeds were an unmodified method by the ancestral demon tree. But now, it was clear that he had underestimated the ancestral demon tree's precautions with its progeny. The most obvious indication was after the ancestral demon tree lifted the suppression on Lin Yuan, he not only awakened a vast number of former abilities, but even the existing demon tree seeds were significantly improved. The improvement here was comprehensive. Lin Yuan, with his against heaven's understanding, perfected the demon tree seeds, greatly enhancing their parasitic capabilities. The parasitized, once infected, looked almost indistinguishable from before, seamlessly deceptive. Similarly, after perfecting the demon tree seeds, Lin Yuan could only condense 100 of them at most. Now, the number of perfected demon tree seeds Lin Yuan could condense had increased from 100 to 300. 300 perfected demon seeds, no need to be so selective now. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Up to now, only 7 demon beast kings had been parasitized by Lin Yuan. As for the others, he had no interest in those demonic beasts below the demon beast kings. Someone's entered the Black Mist Mountain Range? Lin Yuan seemed to sense something and looked toward a direction. Currently, Lin Yuan's roots had spread throughout the entire Black Mist Mountain Range. Anything happening within this range couldn't escape Lin Yuan's perception. The moment the 2 elders of the Tianqing Alliance stepped into the Black Mist Mountain Range, Lin Yuan detected them. Those 2 possess 6th rank strength? Lin Yuan felt carefully for a moment. A moment later, the Divine Ape King, through the demon tree seed, conveyed a message back to Lin Yuan saying that the visitors were 2 elders from the Tianqing Alliance. 2 6th-rank elders from the Tianqing Alliance. A smile formed on Lin Yuan's face. How fortuitous. He had been considering finding new parasitic hosts, and these Tianqing Alliance elders just showed up? All credit goes to the original author. Enjoyed the story? Subscribe for daily uploads and more amazing content. Have a novel you want us to cover? Leave your requests in the comments. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please contact us at fableversodio@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this journey through the Fableverse, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Want to support the storytellers behind the scenes? Check the description for donation links, author credits, and more. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening.